All right, it's now 3:20 on this Thursday afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott got a crew in. We got a tornado warning just being issued now for Lamar, Fayette, and Marion County across northwest Alabama for a potential tornadic thunderstorm there. We got another thunderstorm back in Knoxville County, Mississippi, approaching portions of Pickens County in west Alabama. That storm could also produce a tornado as it moves into west Alabama. Let's go into the storm we're talking about. And while we do, we got Jennifer Herbert here in the studio with us. And Jennifer, what is the information on that tornado warning in Lamar, Fayette, and Marion County?
Yeah, so that severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing that tornado, it was located over Lamar County Airport near Sulligent, and it's moving northeast at 55 miles per hour right now.
All right, so that tornado warning till 4 o'clock. So let's track this thing out for you. So here's our tornadic thunderstorm in Lamar County. This is between Sulligent and Vernon. That's on Highway 17 in West Alabama. So again, if you are in northwest Fayette County and also portions of Marion County, that's generally south of Hamilton, we're going to be under the gun for a possible tornado that could be developing here. There's Highway 17. There is downtown Vernon. That's Highway 18 that runs through Vernon back into East Mississippi. And again, this tornadic thunderstorm just on the north side of town. Let's put on the velocity. I want to look at this thing and see what the National Weather Service is seeing here. And I don't see a whole lot of strong rotational winds. I certainly see some.
We're getting a report from National Weather Service of an increase in lightning activity within that storm and also an improved meso aloft.
Yeah, so they're seeing rotation above the surface. We're looking at the ground level, so most likely what they're talking about is this thing could potentially produce a tornado. It may not be doing that at this very second, but based off the environment we're looking at, and as Jennifer mentioned, the rotation aloft above the surface, this thing could translate down to a tornado down at any time. So again, this is there's the Columbus radar site north of Columbus, Mississippi. Again, our possible tornado is going to be developing here very close to that 278 corridor. That's a Guin and Winfield and Glen Allen right there. So the possible tornado is going to be moving in that general direction off towards the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Again, that's for Lamar County, northwest Fayette County, and southern portions of Marion County in west Alabama. Let me put on the warning display and show you what we got. Before I do that, let me take you out to wide view. And I'm going to pop on the watch warning map, but I will say that storm back in Knoxville County, Mississippi, has me very much concerned about western Pickens County. So let's put on the watch warning map. And again, there's your tornado warning polygon. That's for portions of northern and eastern Lamar County, far northern Fayette County, and southern Marion County in west Alabama. The tornadic thunderstorm that's south of Columbus, Mississippi, that storm is going to move into Pickens County in a matter of moments. Now, there's not formally a tornado warning for Pickens County, but based off the rotational signature, I would expect that most likely, unless this thing weakens rapidly, I would expect a tornado warning most likely for Pickens County at any time. So let's take you into this storm that is to the north. It is currently tornado warning. We'll do a track on this thing and show you where it is. Again, a reminder, most of west Alabama, we got a tornado watch until 8 o'clock tonight. And again, that means conditions are favorable for potentially a tornado. So let's do a track on this. The tornadic circulation is really between Vernon and Sulligent now. This tracking off towards the northeast. Let me clear that off and redraw that. Again, your possible tornado is about right there, moving generally off towards the northeast, and we'll do this at about 55 miles per hour. So there's the forward motion of this, and these are computer estimated times of arrival. This is what time the potential tornado, and we're saying potential, it's not a confirmed, but this is what time this storm is going to be in your area in terms of the rotation. So again, Winfield, you're looking at 343 now. Brilliant. Again, you're looking at around 349. Eldridge, which is over in Walker County, you are looking at 355 there. You got Lynn, that's over in Winston County. We're looking at 402. And if this continues, even down the road towards Arley, you are at 423. So if this potential tornado does continue to move in those communities, that's where you're going to be dealing with that possible tornado over the next hour or so. So again, you see your polygon. Let me take this off and show you the red polygon. That is your tornado warning there. This is, by the way, north of downtown Fayette. There's no threat for this particular storm for Fayette. But again, if you are north of town on Highway 43 especially, we encourage no traveling as this storm does move your way. So again, heads up for Lamar County, northern Fayette County, and southern Marion County. We got a possible tornado there. Let's go down to the south. I want to show you this storm that is coming into Pickens County. Again, formally, we don't have a tornado warning yet. I want to take on the velocity, and let's take this watch warning map off, and let's look at this thing together. And clearly some rotation to the northeast of Tuscaloosa, Mississippi, as that does have a possibility of continuing and moving into Pickens County. And again, Brandon Richards in the studio with us too. And Brandon, this storm is certainly in one of those favorable environments to produce a tornado there.
Right. It has a lot more fuel to work with, but that instability is a little bit greater to the south than the north. But you see what's going on northern Lamar County and Fayette and southern Marion County. There's still a lot of fuel out there for those thunderstorms to work with. So now that we have this storm coming out of Mississippi, out of Noxubee County, coming into southern Pickens County, it's got a little bit more room to work with. And so that signature has been very consistent for the last 30 minutes or so. And so, just a little heads up for Aliceville and Carrollton, central and southern Pickens County. You've got about 30 minutes before this storm starts moving in to the county. But, with its history and being very consistent with the signature that we've seen, that tornadic signature, you might want to just play it more safe and just go ahead and be paying attention to the weather.
Yeah, Brandon, again, we're talking about a western Pickens County for a possible tornado that could be coming your way. That rotational signature is going to be near Pickensville, Carrollton, and Aliceville within the next 20 minutes or so. But again, there's no formal tornado warning for Pickens County just yet, but I think that could change if that rotation does continue. Let's go back off towards the north and show you where we do have a current tornadic thunderstorm that is in Lamar County, and we're beginning to see that process, this thing tightening up and potentially producing a tornado. We don't have a confirmed tornado yet, but that could change. So what we're looking at is velocity. This is the wind speed inside of this thunderstorm. And again, we're beginning to see this thing wrap around there just south of Beaverton. It may not have a tornado at this very second, but again, the potential is there given the wind shear, the uplift, the instability available for this storm to produce a tornado. And again, this is certainly in that prime environment. This is going to be to the east of Sulligent. That's Highway 278 that runs to Ewan. And then you see Winfield over there at the edge of your screen. So we could see at any time a tornado develop right in here. So again, we're watching this part of this segment as the wind begins to wrap around and potentially produce a tornado in northwest Alabama. So carefully watching that. That is currently our only tornado warning in our entire coverage area. There's a storm that's moving out of Noxubee County, Mississippi, that could move into Pickens County in West Alabama and also produce issues. So let me show a wide view just for a moment, because I know a lot of folks are watching from other parts of Alabama. I'm going to take on the Columbus radar. And again, this storm certainly, look at the feature in this storm, that hook echo. So just below Beaverton, may have some hail falling in Beaverton now, maybe some small hail, but just south of there, that's where a possible tornado would develop very quickly. Let me take you to a wide view to show everybody out there across central Alabama. So far, if you're in the Tuscaloosa area and points east and points south, there's been no issues other than the strong pressure gradient winds. Haven't had any tornado issues in our part of the state. So again, as this line begins to move into western Alabama, we're beginning to see indications that we could see potential.
Richard, I do believe they're about to issue a warning for the storm moving into Alabama.
Okay, the one moving into Pickens.
Yes.
Okay, so we're about to see a tornado warning issued for Pickens. There it is right there. All right, so there's a new tornado warning now for Pickens County in West Alabama. Potential tornado that's moving out of East Mississippi into western Pickens County. And this tornadic thunderstorm, see your polygon pop up right there.
Richard, there it is. They just issued the warning. It's until 4:15.
Okay.
This is located over Prairie Point, 9 miles southwest of Pickensville, and that one's moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. The storm's really moving.
65 miles per hour. Goodness, that's the fast motion of this thunderstorm. Now, keep in mind the winds, the steering currents are incredibly strong with this setup, so we're not really surprised. This thing is just really racing off towards the northeast. The one in northern Lamar County, eastern Lamar County, that was moving 55 miles per hour. So, again, got a tornado warning in Pickens County in West Alabama. There's that hook historic echo feature. So Pickensville and Memphis, Carrollton and Reform and Gordo, we need you in shelter now as we have a potential tornado that could be developing there. This is not confirmed, but a potential tornado could be developing and moving in your general area. So this thing's moving northeast very quickly. You're not going to have a whole lot of time to react to this. I'll tell you what, let's do a storm track on this thing. I'm going to zoom you out just a bit and show you that, because this thing is moving so quickly now. We need to be able to get people downstream a good warning of this. So the tornado itself, the possible tornado, is right back here in East Mississippi. This is east of Carrollton, Mississippi, or east of Macon, Mississippi, approaching Carrollton, Alabama. So this is the track on this thing, moving 65 miles per hour. Off to the northeast just like that. So again, the Memphis community, which is in Pickens County, we're looking at 337. Pickensville, we got 342. Carrollton in Alabama, we got 350. Reform at 358. Cola, which is in northwest Tuscaloosa County, we got at 407. You continue down the list there. Those are the computer estimated times of arrival, what time this potential tornado could be in your local area. I do want to also remind you, we are streaming on Facebook Live. If you search for the WVUA 23 Facebook page, you can watch us there. So if you lose power today, or if you can't watch us on television, you got that source of information there on Facebook Live. So we're also nonstop on that. So just a good word of advice, you can be able to check us out on multiple platforms there. So again, tornado warning for Pickens County continues until 4:15. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, I just want to draw attention to Winfield in southern Marion County.
Okay.
I think that storm's starting to wrap up. And so if you're in Winfield or in Guin, you need to be in a safe place now.
All right, let's go to that thing, Brandon. Let's talk about it. First off, that's the Pickens County storm. Let me take that off, and let's go up to the north. And again, as Brandon mentioned, this thing is beginning to wrap up now. It's moving into southern Marion County and has a possible tornado. It's not a confirmed tornado. It's a possibility of a tornado to the southeast of Beaverton. There's Guin, Winfield, Glen Allen. Eldridge is over in Walker County. And again, if this continues, we may have a warning required for northwest Walker and southern and western portions of Winston County. Let me put on the velocity and let's just look at this thing together. And yeah, right there, that little spot that looks like a possible tornado could be trying to develop just on the south side of Beaverton. So we may be in the beginning stages of this tornado reaching the ground, or the rotation reaching the ground, which would be considered a tornado. Let me zoom in tight to this thing. So if you are in Guin, in Winfield, let's go and shelter now. There's our possible tornado. You see that spot, that's that rotational signature that is developing there. That is Fayette County. You got Bobo there. That's Highway 43, Highway 107. And again, that storm is going to track northeast just like that. You see Mountain Gap Road there. That's County Road 69 right there in southern and western portions of the county there. And again, this is Marion County right here. This is Lamar. This is Fayette. So the possible tornado is going to be tracking northeast very quickly, 55 miles per hour. So again, the storm motion with this thing is pretty fast. And with the steering currents, all the storms today are going to be racing off towards the northeast. Brandon, anything down to the south of that storm coming into Pickens County?
So we're still watching the Pickens County storm. It's very wrapped up. I mean, the National Weather Service in Birmingham, John DeBlock, which is the head meteorologist there, he's showing that, there's a lot of rotation starting to line up on the state line, and so they're watching every single one of them very closely. They're also watching a storm southwest of the one coming into Pickens County very closely as well. And so, this is what we talked about, that the instability, we're at the peak heating of the day, the instability is starting to ramp up, and we're getting into that spot, that favorable spot during the afternoon where, we can see, your max heating and your shear. So the thunderstorms can start kind of, rotating a little bit better than what they were. So we're still watching that storm coming into Winfield. That's going to be the northern storm. And so the rotation has kind of wrapped up on that. So if you're in Winfield or Guin, you need to be in your safe place now. There's also a tornado warning for central and southern Pickens County. And again, we want to mention that storm is moving to the northeast at 70 miles per hour. And so you're not going to have a lot of times in these areas where there's tornado warnings today, because these storms are going to be moving very fast. And so, that's the kind of the rundown of what we're watching right now. We got a lot of things going on, and they're all being watched by the National Weather Service, but that's the two tornado warnings that we have right now.
And Brandon, I've got the Fayette camera. This is the Pfeiffer cam at Fayette pulled up. Now, there's too much rain between here and the circulation center, but if you're in downtown Fayette, there's no threat for a tornado there. This is going to be well off towards your northwest, but again, there may be other storms we need to watch, but for the current moment, downtown Fayette is okay, but it is raining there. But we're looking in the northwest direction towards that particular thunderstorm that could be producing a tornado moving into, again, portions of southern Marion County and extreme northern Fayette County. I do want to also remind you that you can get our sources online. We are streaming on Facebook Live. Search for the WVUA 23 Facebook page. You can get that live information nonstop there as well. And so if you lose power, just keep these sources of information. That's going to be something that you may need if you have a significant weather in your area and don't have power. So again, here's a watch warning map. We've got a tornado watch in effect for the western side of the state. That's until 8 o'clock tonight. We got 2 tornado warnings. We're working in our coverage area. One that is in moving into central Pickens County. See the tornado warning polygon right there. And then that's the tornadic thunderstorm coming out of Lamar County, straddling the Marion and Fayette County line. You saw from the Pfeiffer cam at Fayette, we couldn't see anything that far away because it's rain wrapped, or either it's just too much rain between downtown Fayette and the actual circulation center itself. Let's go back over to radar. That is the Birmingham perspective. We'll swap over to Columbus and watch that. And I don't see anything fresh coming in with the National Weather Service. So far, I have not heard of any damage. Jennifer Herbert also in the studio with us too. And Jennifer, I haven't heard of anything back in Mississippi really with these storms either.
Not much information coming in right now. It looks like they're just keeping their eyes on these 2 storms. It does look like the storm in Pickens County is just more impressive as far as maybe rotation is concerned. I'm not seeing as much in the other storm at the moment, and I'm just checking the Jackson chat right now, and just not a lot going on. They're looking at a storm in northeast Simpson at the moment, but they've canceled a tornado warning for Noxubee, Mississippi. But as Brandon said, I think as we're moving into this critical time of the afternoon and these storms are going to see more instability, we could see more warnings going off for the area.
Yeah, Jennifer, so it's interesting, you know, much in north and central Mississippi had that large enhanced risk of severe weather today, and really not much happened, but we're kind of in that critical time of the day now. We got the peak instability and also the shear. So again, this thunderstorm that is rotating, that's coming into southern Marion County, could potentially produce a tornado. But again, that's I will say this, the rotation does not look as impressive as it did just a few moments ago. So again, that storm, the rotation seems to have briefly weakened. So let's go down to the south. I think the more critical storm is the one that's coming into Pickens County. That's the one that certainly has that look to it that could produce a tornado, and also could have some strong straight line winds north of that thing that's coming
Richard,
to reform.
just a quick update. It looks like that they're probably going to cancel the warning in the northern portion of the state.
Okay, so yeah, the Lamar, Marion County, so that's good because the rotation is weakened with that storm. But this one here does have us concerned, Jennifer and Brandon. So this thunderstorm that could be producing a tornado very close to Pickensville and Memphis in West Alabama. This is just on the northwest side of Aliceville. That's crossing Highway 14 generally as we speak right now. So let's go into that storm and let's look at it together. But again, if you are north of that up on 82, there's another spot we need to watch there that could develop some rotation. And I do see another area of rotation back to the west in Macon, Mississippi that also bears watching. So several of these thunderstorms are beginning that rotation and that could produce a tornado. And so far, I've not heard of any reports of damage, so that's good. Hopefully that trend will continue, but you know, we just can't guarantee it. That down there at the bottom of your screen, that the blue squiggly line, that is the Tombigbee River. You got Memphis, Alabama. There's Pickensville. Our possible tornado is going to be crossing Highway 14 in a matter of about 2 or 3 minutes. And then the Saps area, Carrollton, Lois Springs, Dillburg, all those areas. Now that's Highway 17. That's going to cross Highway 17 very close to downtown Carrollton. All right, so it's going to be very close to downtown as this thing races off towards the northeast. Saps, a very hard hit area with a tornado a few years ago. This is going to be moving in that same exact path there. So Pickensville to Aliceville, anybody on 14, you got to pull over, let this thing pass on by. We don't want you traveling on 14 there as a potential tornado will overtake you quickly. And here's a new update. There's your new scan.
Yeah, they canceled that tornado warning for Fayette, Lamar, and Marion counties.
Okay, so that tornado warning's off the board now. Let me, I'll tell you what, while you talk about that, Jennifer, appreciate that update because we're bouncing back and forth between two storms. So now we got one storm to focus on, and that thing is in Pickens County. Let me take you on to the Columbus radar. And let's just zoom things out just a bit because I know there's a lot happening out there that aren't necessarily tornadic storms. So for people watching in other parts of central Alabama, there are no additional problems as of right now, but that could change. We got one tornadic storm in Pickens County. We got more storms back in East Mississippi that are not tornadic, but again, they bear watching as they move into western Alabama. There's still some instability. There's still some wind shear in that uplift, but I think our main problem area is going to be on the southern end of this line, and that's exactly where we have that one thunderstorm that's rotating currently in Pickens County. So,
yeah, Richard, they're looking near Garden at the moment. That's where the significant portion of the storm is over Pickensville. It's still moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. 65.
This is just incredible motion.
Yeah.
It's almost like a hurricane. You know, you typically get these landfalling hurricanes. You see these storms just race northeast like that or race in a direction. This thing is moving northeast very quickly because of strong winds just off the surface. So, again, we got that hook echo feature. That's your inflow notch just north of Aliceville. Again, this is crossing Highway 14 to the north side of Aliceville, and our possible tornado is going to be there. But again, there's another little kink in the line forming between Reform and Millport, and we do need to watch that. That may end up being more of a damaging straight line wind risk, but it's still something of concern given the wind shear and the intense part of this storm. It could rotate as well, but we're not seeing that happen at the moment. So let's go down to the south. Again, you see Carrollton. All right, there's Reform at the top of your screen. Gordo is right there. That's Highway 82 that runs west of Coker towards Gordo. Reform then crosses the state line. But there's Beavertown. That is Saps right there. Saps, a very hard hit by a tornado a few years back. A violent tornado. There's a loss of life there because of that particular tornado. We hope everybody in this path or in those local community storm shelters. I know there's a number of storm shelters in Pickens County that are available. If you are in the direct path of this tornado, you need to seek shelter now. And obviously, we mentioned this a lot of times during the tornado coverage. We don't want you in a mobile home. There was a loss of life in Sawyerville just a couple of weeks ago with people that were in a mobile home. So we just want you out of a mobile home in a site-built structure, as research and the history of these events show that if you're in a mobile home, the chance of survival in a tornado can go down dramatically. So, again, we want you out of a car, out of a mobile home. Those are the two main features we don't want you in, as there is the potential for a damaging tornado with that. I have not seen confirmation of damage right now, but that could change. This storm is clearly wrapped up here. Again, there's Highway 14, the Garden area, there's Aliceville, and then Bridgeville down to the south. So, this thing's going to continue racing off towards the northeast. Here's a new update. And again, up here in Carrollton and Stanzel, we got very heavy rain falling there. If you are on Highway 86 that runs into 17, that's Highway 17 right there that goes to the east and joins 82 near Gordo. Again, this rotational signature is on top of Saps now. Next up is going to be downtown Carrollton, and then Stanzel on Highway 17. So this is one of those storms that has that potential to produce a tornado. And just checking information here behind the scenes, I don't see any reports on this thing so far. So, so far, so good. And Brandon and Jennifer, you guys keeping a close eye on reports as well. If you see something, let me know. But so far, I do not see anything from this storm. Let's go over to the velocity and check that out. And let's just watch the rotation. Again, still rotating now. I will say this, the rotation is not as impressive as it was back in East Mississippi. Now, doesn't mean it's not going to produce a tornado, but the rotational signature is not as tight as it was. It's right over Saps. That's our couplet. That's where our rotating winds are. If there's a tornado down, it's going to be right there. But Carrollton downtown, we need you in shelter, as this possible tornado is going to move your way very quickly. Again, the rotation's not as impressive as it once was. Go ahead, Brandon.
You know, I'm starting to get worried about that storm just north of it. You know, it's starting to get that orientation, the part of the line just south of Millport that'd be heading toward northern Tuscaloosa County, more toward, Moores Bridge and New Lexington, and toward the Barry area. That's kind of starting to get that look to it, kind of like the one to the north did when it wrapped up very quickly. So just want to kind of bring that attention, southern Fayette County, northern Tuscaloosa County, just make sure you're watching it very closely.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about, Brandon. Let's go over to our velocity, and let's take you off to the north. And again, there's not a formal tornado warning for that particular segment of the line, even though technically that part of the line is in the tornado warning for that down there. But again, yeah, you're right. This thing right over Palmetto on 17 has kind of that suspicious look to it. If this thing can wrap around just like the one did, as you mentioned, Brandon, coming out of Lamar County, we had that very brief, tight couplet. We'll see if this thing can wrap around and produce a tornado. But right now, if there's anything trying to develop, it's going to be over Palmetto. And then that's going to move into Newtonville. There's Morris Bridge. That's Highway 171 that runs out of Fayette County into Northport. Again, this is something we need to carefully monitor. Downtown Fayette is up here at the top of your screen. And again, there's not formally a tornado warning for this segment of the line. Technically speaking, there is a tornado warning here, but it's because of that one down to the south. The best word of advice is be in shelter. If you're out here in northern and eastern Pickens County, as the possibility of a tornado could develop at any time. Don't have a confirmation of a tornado, but it doesn't mean one can't develop. Let's go back down to the south. And again, this is the reason we are on air, is because of this rotational signature that's come through SAPS now and is approaching downtown Carrollton. And I can imagine if there is a tornado down or developing, we're going to know about it quickly. New scan, the couplet's a little bit tighter there, coming right up on downtown Carrollton. All right, this thing's moving northeast very quickly. I believe it's going to cross 82 between Reform and Gordo. The Bell area there, this is crossing the intersection right at downtown Carrollton. Okay, that's Highway 17 that runs north and south. That's Highway 86 that runs east and west. And again, if there's one down, it's going to be right there. Let's look at the correlation coefficient and just make sure we don't see any debris. This is going to be our debris tracker. And it's kind of noisy here. I don't see any screaming evidence of debris or a tornado with that. But again, let's treat each storm as if they could produce a tornado. Based off the environment, it is conducive for producing some tornadoes, especially for West Alabama. So again, while we don't see screaming evidence of a tornado down, let's stay sheltered. Let me go back out to wide view, and I'll tell you what, before we do that, I'll go back over to Columbus radar. And let's go to wide view. Show everybody out there. Go ahead, Brandon.
We got that alert just a second ago. If you heard the beeping in our microphones, That was what's called a mesoscale discussion that was issued. That's just when the Storms Prediction Center kind of gives us a general area of what's kind of going on in that area. And they're kind of highlighting the I-20 corridor. So from Meridian to Tuscaloosa to Birmingham, they're kind of highlighting that area for the best chance for severe weather. Doesn't mean you'll see a tornado in that area, but there's a little bit of that enhanced risk along the Interstate 20 corridor where the severe weather threat's kind of increasing.
Yeah, so again, that's Brandon and I, we've been kind of talking about that, and Jennifer, for a while now, about this zone that's really down here is an environment that is conducive of producing a tornado a little better compared to areas to the north. I think this area up here to the north is more stable compared to down here. So we could see perhaps another issue with some tornadoes developing there. But so far we've got one on the board, and that is in Pickens County. These storms back in East Mississippi, these are not considered tornadic right now, but with the wind shear and its stability available, these could rotate and potentially produce a tornado at about any time. So let's show you wide view. You see areas east of Tuscaloosa currently no problems at all. that could change. We do have some strong gusty winds, but there's no immediate concern for tornado. There's a tornado watch in effect, and that's the counties in yellow until 8 p.m. tonight. That includes Sumter, Greene, Hale County, Tuscaloosa, Pickens, and points north to the Tennessee state line. And we do have east and central Mississippi also underneath that tornado watch. Interesting to note, the Weather Service already canceling and trimming back the tornado watch in North Mississippi, as the threat does basically shift southeast with time. So again, this is going to end pretty quickly once it begins in your area. It's not going to be a deal where it lasts all night. I don't think we're going to see severe weather issues for 12, 14 hours. Some events could last that long. This one's not going to do that. So once these storms move in, your risk will end fairly quickly. Let's get back over to radar. This is Birmingham's perspective. And I tell you what, I want to take our Brian Denny, this is our Pfeiffer cam at Fade. I want to go over to Brian Denny, and I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this camera around off to the west. I don't think we're going to be able to see anything this far away, but I will be interested to see as this storm gets a little bit closer to western Tuscaloosa County. Perhaps we could see some changes with that. So let me pan this camera back to the west and show you what we're looking at. And again, there's no tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County. I'll make that clear. We're looking west again, generally towards. Okay. Jennifer, do we have an update from the National Weather Service?
Yeah, just for Pickens County until 4:15, that thunderstorm that we are watching that's capable of producing a tornado. It's now near Carrollton, and it's still moving northeast at 65 miles per hour.
All right, so we're watching that storm. This is from our Brian Denny camera, and I tell you what, this is looking west towards that thunderstorm. And again, it's so far away, we're not going to be able to see a whole lot just yet, but we will be monitoring this camera as this storm does race off towards the northeast direction. And I tell you what, Catherine, you guys in the control room, if y'all can keep an eye on this camera, and if you see anything, let me know. Because I do want to go back over to radar since this thing's just a little too far away to be able to see that. So let me take you back to our radar out of Birmingham. And this is what we got. Again, a dangerous thunderstorm in Pickens County that is capable of producing a tornado. It's not one that's confirmed right now, but it is a storm that's in an environment that is conducive for producing a tornado. And so far, I haven't heard of any reports out of that. So let's go back into that storm and show you what we got. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep it on Birmingham just for a moment. On Birmingham's radar perspective, we're kind of getting to that in-between point where both radars can equally see this storm pretty well. Hook echo feature, no doubt, is still there. You see that wrapping feature, that's your inflow notch. This tornadic circulation, I think, is to the east of Carrollton. Essentially, it's on Highway 86. It runs to Highway 82 just to the east of Gordo. That turn off 82, you go west into downtown Carrollton. If you go northwest on 82, you run into Reform. There's a little community of Bell that sits right there between Gordo and Reform. Your possible tornadoes located right there. Now, this is going to move into northwest Tuscaloosa County towards Moores Bridge area here pretty soon. And so far, there has not been a single report of damage from this storm. And I tell you, Brandon, you go back just a couple of weeks, and what a difference. You know, we had that one storm we were watching for a long time, and this thing just kept producing reports after reports of a confirmed tornado. This one has been eerily quiet.
Right, yeah, and you know, it's had sustained rotation all the way out of East Mississippi. So to have no reports coming at it, it's covered all of this ground up until now. And we haven't had any storm reports. That's a good thing. We don't want any reports, and that might be that we might never had a tornado touch the ground, but it only takes one in your instance for a tornado to come through your neighborhood, and that's a big deal. And so, we're still going to watch it. The tornado warning is up, until 4:15. And so if you're in the tornado warning polygon, you want to be in a safe place. Now, I do want to mention that there is a storm behind it right across the state line that I'm watching just east of Brooksville in Noxubee County that's also got some pretty strong rotation in it. So, Pickens County, just kind of stay on alert. We got multiple storms around your vicinity that are rotating. So just make sure that you're watching the weather very closely.
Yeah, Brandon, and again, that's a storm back in East Mississippi, too. This storm of concern is still rotating. We'll take you over to the velocity product, and we can see kind of good perspective of what the wind is doing inside this storm. And Again, you're looking at reflectivity. That is the raindrops we put on the velocity, and the couplet seems to be flaring back up just a bit. Now, this thing is awfully close to downtown Gordo. I think it's safe to say if you're in Reform, you're going to miss this one, but if you were just south of Reform from Bell to Gordo, that's on US 82. This potential tornado is going to be crossing there in a matter of moments, but no doubt this thing seems to be ramping back up just a bit. Again, no confirmation, but so far so good. And according to the EMA in Pickens County, there are no reports of damage in Pickens County so far. And I'll tell you what, after what happened a couple of weeks ago with that storm that moved through Sumter and Greene and Hale counties, we'll take that. Hopefully this will continue, but we certainly cannot guarantee it. So we need to be ready to take shelter if there is a tornado that touches down. Even before that, we need you in shelter now. This thing's about to move into Tuscaloosa County towards Ecola and Morris Bridge, so it will be interesting to see if the National Weather Service will trigger that tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County. So far, they've not done that. The storm to the north, we've been watching with interest. I don't see any sign of a tornado with that, but there's some powerful winds coming through Zion. That's Highway 159 that runs north of Gordo.
Richard,
go ahead.
Just to let you know, they've added the rest of our viewing area into the tornado watch.
Okay, so they've updated the tornado watch. Let me go over to that map and see if it has popped up on our screen yet.
It goes until 9 o'clock.
Okay, so till 9 o'clock. So they added one more hour to that tornado watch, and let's see if it has popped up yet. I don't think it has. We're going to see that yellow box pop up here in just a moment. So again, we've got one tornadic thunderstorm that's moving out of Pickens County, about to move into Tuscaloosa County. And Storm Prediction Center issues the tornado watch until 9, so we're going to see that officially update here in just a moment. You're going to get the alerts with your smartphones, or if you got the apps for alerts, for weather alerts, and also your weather radios are going to go off. I do want to mention down in the Demopolis area, the weather radio, the NOAA weather radio transmitter is down, not functioning. So we're really having problems down here in southwest Alabama of getting those alerts. So heads up, if you know anybody down here in southwest Alabama, if there are any dangerous storms coming their way. Right now you're okay, but if there are any later on this evening, you're going to have to call people, text them, let them know what's happening, because they're not going to be able to get those alerts there. So again, we'll be here as always on TV and on Facebook Live. Let's go into the Pickens County storm and look at that and see what's going on with it. There's certainly still that suspicious looking feature on the backside of that storm, that hook echo. That's crossing Highway 82 in just a matter of moments. This thing's going to move right over Gordo. So Gordo is in East Pickens County. If you're moving west on 82, you pass through downtown Gordo before you get at Reform, and there's that hook. That possible tornado is going to be moving right over downtown Gordo. This thing seems to have made more of an east jog. Originally, it was looking more like a Reform was going to take a hit from this possible tornado. Now it's made it further east towards Gordo. So, again, this storm has made a slight right turn, which could be indicating an increase in rotation. So if rotation increases, sometimes these storms do make a little bit of a right turn.
I do want to mention that the updraft on this thunderstorm has definitely increase. And what does that mean? So we're looking at the lightning data. I was looking at the lightning, and it has really increased just in the last 5 to 10 minutes, which is, indicative of a stronger thunderstorm. Usually with correlations with the lightning coming up, usually that means that the circulation is starting to strengthen. So, there's no tornado warning just yet for Tuscaloosa County, but you need to really be watching.
Here we go. Tornado warning, Tuscaloosa County.
There we go.
Brand new tornado warning just issued for Tuscaloosa County. Storm continues to move northeast at 65 miles per hour. So again, this is for this storm coming out of the Gordo area. And tornado warning until 4:45 for northwest Tuscaloosa County. Here's your rotating thunderstorm. It's over downtown Gordo. That's the turn off to Highway 159 that runs north out of the Gordo area. This is 82. This rotation is right on downtown now. So if there's going to be a tornado down, I can imagine we're going to find out pretty quick what is happening in that part of the world. Let me tell you what, let's take you out, show you the watch warning map, because we're going to have the new tornado warning polygon that includes portions of Tuscaloosa County. Let me zoom out and show you where that is. And again, this thing has made more of a right turn. It's not necessarily moving perfectly northeast, maybe a slight more eastward jog. Don't know if that'll continue. That's why this polygon looks so odd there. This was the original polygon because it was going like that. Now it's moving more like that. So here's the tornado warning polygon that includes the northern portion of Tuscaloosa County. Really, it's about from Tuscaloosa County High School north towards Samantha. That's north side, middle and high school there, Walker Elementary School is in the direct path of this possible tornado. If anything, it may be just a hair north of Samantha, but again, if you're in that polygon, you got to take action and do something about it. So again, mobile home, we want you out of a mobile home, find that site-built structure before this potential tornado gets to you. Out of a car, don't want anybody traveling on these highways. That's Highway 171 that runs out of Northport. That's the Highway 43 that runs from about the Winn-Dixie area, Tuscaloosa County High School north, almost to the Fayette County line. And then Wyndham Springs is right there. So on 69, if you are about Yellow Creek up towards the Walker County line, that's where you need to be in shelter now. So no driving on those roads at all if you can avoid that.
Richard, there's just an update. They are showing some interest in a storm in western Pickens County at the moment.
All right, so yeah, that's Brandon, that's the one you were mentioning earlier. So there's another kind of spot of rotation that's developing that is in western Pickens County. There's not formally a tornado warning for that, but that is a storm certainly of concern. And tell you what, let's take our Bryant-Denny camera full if we can, Catherine. I just want to kind of watch that. Let's take our Bryant-Denny camera full if we can. I want to watch this thing carefully as we do have a rotating thunderstorm northwest of Tuscaloosa. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pan our camera around just so we can kind of watch this together. I don't know if we're going to be able to see anything. It's just a long ways off from our Tuscaloosa camera.
And Richard,
Go ahead.
do have an update. We have some damage report from Sheriff Todd Hall in Pickens County. We are seeing reports, or they are seeing reports of debris in Pine Grove. That's south of Carrollton off County Road 86, and it's mostly trees, and these are no injuries, just some damage.
Okay, so we got some timber damage being reported, and you said that was just below Carrollton. Sheriff Todd Hall there in Pickens County giving that report. Catherine, let's go back over to our radar, and again, that's down here in this part of Pickens County, so we may have at least had a brief tornado touchdown. Fortunately, it missed structures according to the sheriff there in Pickens County, so I want to thank him for that report. But again, we've still got a tornadic thunderstorm that is moving northeast very quickly now. That's about to enter northern Tuscaloosa and western Tuscaloosa County. And I will say this is not going to affect downtown Tuscaloosa or downtown Northport. This is well off to the north, but again, that rotating thunderstorm has now passed east of Gordo. It's coming up on Cola, and then Samantha. You're going to be next up from this possible tornado. So again, this is a rotating thunderstorm that has produced some damage, but we don't have any confirmation of a tornado down right now. So let's go into that storm real tight and show you who's in the path of this thing, because again, if you are anywhere near downtown Northport on 82 and point south, there's no threat for you. This is north of there. There's our hook echo feature. Let me switch over to our Columbus radar and just kind of see. I want to get the best perspectives we can of this thing. There's our hook echo. Morris Bridge, very heavy rainfall. Ocola or possible tornadoes could be crossing the Tuscaloosa County line. That's Pickens County. Here's Tuscaloosa County. There's Highway 171. That on the edge of your screen, that's Lake Tuscaloosa. All right, this is going to most likely impact the very northern part of the lake where North River moves into Lake Tuscaloosa. That should be just north of Tiers Patton Road. So again, there's a COLA right there. There's your hook echo feature. Morris Bridge, that's 159. That's now moved to the south, moved to the east of Gordo. Let me put on our velocity. And again, it's not screaming strong of a rotational signature. I'll say that. There's no doubt there's some rotation there, but it's not extremely tight like sometimes we see when we do have a confirmed tornado down. But no doubt there's still some rotating wind just to the west of Ocola now. This is north of Holloman there. There's a Buell, Coker, There's a downtown Northport. That's the split off of 43 and 171, not far from Chapel Hill Baptist Church. Again, this is all going to be well north of there. I think it's going to be north of Tuscaloosa County High School. So this is going to be the northern part of Tuscaloosa County. This is not going to include the city of Tuscaloosa. And Brandon, I do want to check with you. Are you seeing anything else of other storms out there of concern?
I'm watching the radar very closely across Mississippi. We got a severe thunderstorm warning for Knoxville and Kemper County, so that's going to be coming up into southern Pickens and northern Sumter. So we're watching that storm very closely. We're watching some other storms across East Mississippi and West Alabama, but I want to just draw the attention on these storms that are in northern Tuscaloosa County, Richard. The lightning display on these storms have rapidly increased in the last 15 minutes, and usually that means that the storms are beginning to strengthen.
Yeah, so anytime you see that, that's not a good sign. I see they did cancel the tornado warning for Pickens County because the storm's out of Pickens County now, the rotation with that. But again, Brandon mentioned the lightning output from this storm over North Tuscaloosa County's come up some. That's indicating a stronger updraft. And given the amount of wind shear we have, if you have a stronger updraft, your potential for tornado is higher. Given we got plenty of wind shear, we got the instability to work with. So basically, the stronger your storm, the higher the chance it could produce a tornado. Even though we don't have confirmation of one down, it doesn't mean it can't be one down at any time. So again, this stuff back to the west, there's not a whole lot happening north of Meridian. That's Kemper County, Mississippi. There's one storm we're watching, but I don't see any strong evidence of a tornado with that right now. Clearly on the board, if you look at the entire radar perspective, this is the stronger segment within your larger area of rain and thunderstorms now that has that potential to produce a tornado. So let's go back into that and let's just show you all of this together. So for everybody watching from other parts of Alabama, I'm focusing mainly on where there's a danger, where there's a chance for a tornado. So if I'm not really talking a whole lot about your area, that's good. And it looks like I've got a new tornado warning.
A new tornado warning for Fayette, Tuscaloosa, and Walker. This is going to go until 5 p.m. tonight. And this is located right now 7 miles south of Berry, 13 miles southeast of Fayette. And this is moving northeast at, again, 65 miles per hour. These storms are moving very fast.
It's that northern storm and that part of that complex is really starting to wrap up.
Yeah, it is, the northern one. So let's look at that carefully. This may become a dominant circulation, is this one to the north. But again, the southern end typically is the more dominant circulation, but it looks like the northern end right here is beginning to wrap up. That's why there's a brand new tornado warning polygon that includes the southern part and central portion of Walker County, basically Jasper and points south under the gun for a potential tornado that could be developing. Again, typically the southern end becomes dominant, but right now the northern end is ramping up very quickly, so that could change at any time. Let's tell you what, let's take on the velocity. Let's just look at the wind speed inside this thing, because I know that's going to give us our best bet in terms of what it looks like structurally. And you see that feature right there, very strong winds wrapping around this potential tornado on the north side of Samantha. There's another rotation west of Samantha. So you got two different areas right here that could potentially produce a tornado. And the Weather Service are going ahead and issuing that tornado warning for the northern part, as it does also have that possibility of producing a tornado. So zoom in tight. Again, for areas of Tuscaloosa and Northport, downtown, no problems at all with this particular storm. This is well north of you. This is going to be, I'd say this is going to be near, really north of County High. I'd say Northside High School and points north is going to be primarily under the gun for the southern circulation. The northern circulation is going to be way up here near the Tuscaloosa Fayette County line, near the Berry area in Bankston. That's Highway 43 that, you got the split off there that goes up towards Fayette.
Richard, we're just getting some more storm reports of some barn roof damage outside of Beaverton on Mountain Gap Road.
All right, so we are getting more reports of damage. Now, that's in Lamar County.
Lamar County, yep.
Okay, so EMA office over there reporting some damage. Jennifer there in Lamar County, that's from that storm earlier. That either produced some straight line winds or perhaps a brief tornado. We saw that tight couplet wrap up just for a moment, and we don't know if that was a tornado at that very second or if we've got some strong wraparound winds that produce some damage. But again, the National Weather Service office tomorrow, they'll sit out the survey crews, they'll look at all the damage, whatever damage we got, they'll determine whether it was wind or tornado. But yeah, this one to the north, look at that, the rotation wrapping up. This is now east of Highway 43, north of Samantha. This is the northern circulation. This is the southern circulation. The northern so far becoming dominant, and this thing could easily produce a tornado at any time. That's moving towards Oakman in Walker County. That's Highway 69 that runs very curvy, hilly terrain there that runs out of Tuscaloosa County into southern Walker County. So this thing could produce a tornado at any time. And I'll say this, Brandon, this one looks like the more intense rotation we've seen so far in Alabama.
Yeah, we're definitely wanting to draw attention now. This is a big heads up now for southern Walker County. This storm is starting to wrap up the northern storm in the south of Berry currently. So if you're along Highway 18 between Berry and Oatman, so that includes Corona, you need to be in a safe place. If you're along Highway 69 north of the Old Monasco's restaurant, you also need to be in a safe place there. And this is going to continue on through Oakman and then the 269 corridor from Jasper all the way down to Gorgas and the old Gorgas steam plant. You need to be in a safe place. Again, this is wrapping up very quickly, and the winds on it are very intense.
Yeah, even if you're not dealing with a tornado itself, you could have some strong straight line winds that could bring trees down, and falling trees can be a threat to life and property. So even if there's not a tornado there, you could be seeing very strong winds wrapping around the circulation. And here's the deal, the winds just off the surface are screaming at 60, 70 miles per hour just a couple of thousand feet up. So these thunderstorms can bring that wind down to the surface and produce widespread tree and power line damage. So even if you don't get the tornado itself, you could get those strong downdraft winds around the tornado that could cause problems. So we want everybody out of a mobile home. If you're in southeast Fayette County, that is below Berry. If you're in Oakman, there's Cordova. That's the Interstate 22 corridor. And again, as Brandon mentioned, that's the Highway 269 corridor that runs into northern Jefferson County. You got Sylvian Springs down there. This is going to be north of the Jefferson County line for the northern potential tornado. But again, Wyndham Springs, if you're north of Wyndham Springs on Highway 69, we want you to pull over. Don't drive on 69 north of Wyndham Springs. The potential tornado could be crossing there. But again, there's Oakman. Here's our new update. Yeah, it looks like we've got a very tight circulation developing now. I would be surprised if we don't have a tornado in the process of touching down now in extreme north Tuscaloosa County. I know from our Bryant-Denny camera this is just going to be too far away to see it, and I think it is going to be rain-wrapped anyway. So the Bryant-Denny camera, I just don't think we're going to be able to see it this far away. But Wyndham Springs there on 69 north of there, or if you are at Berry and points east to Oakman, you need to be in shelter. Let's do a path of this thing and show you who's going to be in the path of this. Again, it's moving northeast at 65 miles per hour, so this thing is really racing off to the northeast. So I'm telling you that this thing is going to be in Walker County in just a few minutes. Let me zoom into that, back into that storm that has the potential tornado. The one that's to the south, we'll say this, is coming into Samantha. This circulation continues to weaken and disorganize. I don't think there's a tornado down with that, but anybody in north Tuscaloosa County, especially north of Samantha, you still need to be in shelter now. So let's do a track on this thing, and while we do, Brandon, any updates from that?
I'm not seeing anything. I'm kind of checking the chat. I don't see any new information coming from this storm. But it's very intense tornado thunderstorm.
Yeah, just another update. I'm checking with the Weather Service. This is still radar indicated, but I tell you what, it certainly looks like it's going to produce a tornado if it's not already. So let's do a track on this. It's moving northeast very quickly. So there is our tornadic circulation right there, moving northeast into Walker County. So this is going to cross Cordova, Empire, Sipsey, Summerton, other communities in the path of that. Again, these are your general time frames. In fact, I'm going to redraw that because I need to get the speed a little faster. I want to give you your best bet of how fast it's going to get to your particular area. So I'm going to zoom out just enough to where you can see that. Again, 65 miles an hour, that's a fast tracking thunderstorm that could be producing a tornado. We still see that circulation just on the west side of Samantha, but clearly that circulation is weakening just a bit. So again, if it continues, let's go up to 65 miles an hour. I mean, this is incredible. This is an hour path, by the way. This is a 1 hour track. So again, that's how far it's going to travel in just 1 hour at a time. So Oakman at 426, we need you in shelter now. Parrish, we are looking at 431. Jasper at 436. I will say this, it looks like the core threat is near and south of Jasper in Walker County. Robbins Crossroads, you continue, that's 445. Bremen, that's 455. Downtown Coleman, if this continues, although I will say most likely it will stay south of downtown Coleman. 507 in the Cleveland area. This is continuing well off to the northeast, but this is your hour path, a 1 hour path of how far it's going to travel in an hour, and it is moving at 65 miles per hour. I do want to remind you, if you lose power, we are streaming on Facebook Live, WVUA 23 Facebook page, and you can check us out there. Also on the website, WVUA23.com. Let me clear that off, and let's go into this storm. Very, very tight evidence of rotation now. And I tell you what, Brandon and Jennifer, you guys want to watch carefully that correlation coefficient, because I think we've got a tornado down. That's got to be a tornado down now on the Tuscaloosa and Fayette County line. So again, a very tight evidence of rotation.
Yeah, I'm seeing a debris signature at this point.
Okay, let's tell you what, let's go over to the debris, the correlation coefficient, the debris tracker. There's a tornado coming up on Boley Springs, and this thing is intense. So let's look at the debris and see if we got it here. All right, I don't see it yet, but I know it's going to pop up. That's a County Road 50. There it is, right there. All right, we've got a tornado down on the Tuscaloosa Fayette County line.
Richard, the TDS there, it's confirmed tornado on the ground.
All right, so we got a confirmed tornado that is down on the Fayette and Tuscaloosa County line. This is it. This is your debris tracker. That's that correlation coefficient, that dropout and signature. So we know we got a tornado down right now. So let's go off to the northeast, and I just want to show everybody in the path of this thing. This is going to move into Walker County in just a matter of a few minutes. There's our new signature. County Road 57 right there. You got Blue Water Trace right there. This Blue Water Trace, it goes into Walker County. Let's see, that's Highway 69 that runs out of the Whitson area. That goes into Walker County, out of Tuscaloosa County. You got to be in shelter now. So if you're in Boley Springs, this little southeast boot heel of Fayette County, we've got an urgent plea of action to get out of a mobile home, seek shelter immediately. We've been talking about this tornado storm for a while now. You got to be in shelter. You should have been in shelter 10, 15 minutes ago in this part of Fayette County.
Hey,
but
Richard,
this is going to move right into Oakman. Go ahead.
The National Weather Service is now going to upgrade this to a considerable damage threat. So a large and extremely dangerous tornado was located right over Boley Springs. So, we're calling out Boley Springs. This is now a considerable threat.
All right, so this is a life-threatening tornado. See how fast this changes. We were talking about this thing wrapping up. It's now producing a considerable large tornado on the Fayette-Tuscaloosa County line. That's Sandtown, that's Boley Springs. This is going to move right over. This is crossing County Road 57 now. There's Blue Water Trace there that moves into Walker County. And I tell you what, let's put on the velocity just for a moment. I want to see the wind speed inside of this thing. Incredibly, look at the tight couplet here. This thing is wrapped up. Unbelievable how fast this thing wrapped up. We're watching that trend, so this thing could be producing a large tornado coming up on the southern end of Boley Springs right now, so we got to have you in shelter. This is an urgent situation for a tornado that is confirmed down right now in that part of the world. So again, gate-to-gate shear, we're looking at 102 miles per hour. It could be stronger than that down at ground level, but we're seeing strong gate-to-gate shear. That's the rotating winds of where there's a tornado down right now. So Boley Springs, you got to be in shelter. There's Oakman at the top of your screen. This Highway 69 that runs to Oakman. This is going to be on top of you in a matter of 5-6 minutes. It's moving so fast it's going to be over you in just a matter of moments. Let me zoom out. I want to show you a wider view of who's in the path of this thing, because there's no doubt we've got a tornado down. This is an urgent plea of action. If you are in southeast Fayette County or portions of Walker County, that's Oakman, that's Highway 69 right there that runs down into Whitson out of North Tuscaloosa County. This is now moving out of Tuscaloosa County. Again, this is clearly past Samantha now. This is past north side, way up there in the Fayette-Tuscaloosa County line. Bowley Springs there. There's West Corona. That's Oakman. Next up would be Jasper and Parrish. If you are in Jasper and Parrish, you need to be in shelter now, as we have that potential, I say potential, it's now confirmed, tornado that is down. I want to put on the Birmingham reflectivity. And again, it's a very messy looking storm, but there's no doubt we've got one down. And again, what you're looking at, that pink polygon, that is for a confirmed tornado down. We know it's one down, and that's what we're looking at right there. Tell you what, let me zoom out just a bit and show you a wide perspective here of who is dealing with what, because I know there's other parts of Alabama that are curious of what's happening in your area. There are no other tornado warnings in our coverage area. We still maintain that tornado warning for North Tuscaloosa County for that second circulation to the down to the south, but we don't see any strong evidence of a tornado down with that. Tornado watch continues for all of central Alabama until 9 p.m. tonight. So I want to go back over to our debris signature, and let's go into this storm. And hopefully this thing will miss structures, but I can tell you now this is a strong tornado based off the signature we're seeing. All right, so this thing is clearly well north of Samantha and Wyndham Springs. The rotational signatures there, the debris signatures there as well. There is the Patton area, that's West Corona, that's Highway 18 that joins Highway 69 just on the south side of Oakman. That's over in Walker County. You got Parrish over there at the edge of your screen. So your tornado is going to continue tracking off towards the northeast very quickly. And I tell you what, the last scan of the correlation coefficient, the debris tracker, is not as impressive as it was
it also looks
just
like
a minute ago.
the velocity is not as large as it was either.
Yeah, it's not
It
as
looks
tight
like,
as the couplet. Okay, I tell you what, let's do that, Jennifer. Let's go over to our velocity and just look at that, because our rotation is still there. All right, we still got rotation there, but this thing may be occluding off just a bit. We'll see. It may still have a tornado down. In fact, I think there's still a tornado down with that. But we had that very tight couplet. This is coming out of the Sandtown area on the south end of Bowley Springs. This is just about a hair south there, a couple of miles south of downtown Bowley Springs, but it's such a close call. We know people live out here. But you see the road there, Blue Water Trace. All right. There's a Dixie Springs Road there. Kings Mill is there. Kings Mill just on the north side of Oakman. That's where your tornado is going to be, tracking northeast just like that. So if you're in Oakman now, we need you shelter. Kings Mill, we need you sheltered now. Let's pan this off to the north. Well, I'll tell you what, before we do that, let's look at the one to the south just for a moment and look at this thing together. And again, around Wyndham Springs, there's still some evidence of rotation. There's still a tornado warning here, by the way, for Highway 69. That's Goodwater Road there. That's Blue Creek Road there. This is going to be passing north of there, but that is the Black Warrior River. Down there at the bottom of your screen, Holt Lake. We got Lock 17. It's going to be all north of there. But again, still got the evidence of a tornado that could be down. That's about to move into Walker County out of Fayette County.
Yeah, just an update from National Weather Service that storms picked up some speed again. It's now moving at 60 miles per hour. It's now located 7 miles west of Bankhead, Lock and Dam, and 16 miles north of Holt. Yeah,
that's for the southern circulation. That's the one down in Tuscaloosa County that's well north of the city of Tuscaloosa, north of Samantha. So again, that's the one that's crossing in Wyndham Springs now. So that storm's moving at 60 miles an hour. This one at 65. But your possible tornado is going to be now on the east side of Bowley Springs. But Oakman, Kings Mill, you got to be in shelter. Next up would be the Parrish community. And you see at the top of your screen, that's a Jasper up here. Mount Hope, all right. This is going to be, I'd say this is going to be near or just south of downtown Jasper. If you are north and west of Jasper, if you're north on Interstate 22, I don't think this tornado is going to impact you. I think it's going to be clearly to the south. But there's no doubt there's still strong rotation there. And for now, we're going to treat it like there's still a tornado down, because, Brandon, you and I have seen many times, this thing can ramp up quickly and produce a tornado. You seen anything over there, Brandon?
No, I'm not seeing any new information coming from the National Weather Service. But you're right. You know, this storm, we were talking about the southern one the whole time, and then all of a sudden we looked up at the northern one, and it began to start rotating very violently. The last update we still have from the National Weather Service is that there's a large, extremely dangerous tornado. So, if you're in Oatman or along the Oatman Parish Highway is what they call that, between Parish and Oatman, Providence sits in the middle, you need to be in a safe place.
Yeah, this thing, it could still easily have a tornado, Brandon. I mean, it's over Blue Water Trace now. Okay, that's Highway 69 that runs south of Oakman. This is Wallace Ferry Road. You see, that's the Tuscaloosa and Walker County line. That's the city of Oakman. There's a Kings Mill, Williamstown there. So, again, this potential tornado is going to cross the Emu area there. Then again crossing 69 within a matter of about 5-6 minutes. So it's moving quickly off to the northeast. It's clearly east of Boley Springs. There's no longer a threat to Boley Springs as this tornado is now passed to your east. The other circulation down to the south that's now east of Windham Springs, there's still some evidence of rotation with that. But again, Goodwater Road there, this is where this one's going to be crossing. Goodwater Road is now crossing Highway 69 to the north of Northport and Tuscaloosa. Again, the lead circulation is the northern one, and it's clearly the more dominant circulation. All right, new update from a velocity. Let's look at this together. And again, I will say the southern one just does not look that impressive anymore. But if you're in the Whitson area, you still need to be in shelter on 69. Let's go to the one to the north, and even the one to the north appears to be weakening significantly. So, again, if you're in Walker County, we still need you in shelter with the potential for a tornado there. Let me take back on the reflectivity, and let's just look at this. And I'm going to zoom out just a bit because there's no doubt this storm wrapped up quickly. I mean, this thing had a tornado down just within a matter of a few minutes. Brandon, the storm has totally changed in structure, if you notice that.
Yeah, so you know how at the beginning of the tornado phase, it was more toward the front of the thunderstorm, but it's wrapped itself to the back. What we call that a mesovortice. And so basically, it's a kind of like a meso low. It wraps itself behind. It's its own little low pressure. And so there's definitely still a threat. There's still rotation there. The rotation's not as strong, so it's a little bit more broad. They're not touching. The winds are not as strong together. But there's still a rotation there, and so you got to treat it like there is a tornado.
Yeah, and best word of advice, if there is one down, we need to treat it. There's a tornado warning, need to treat it like there's one down. I believe we've lost our tornado observed. I see our polygon has turned back red.
Yeah, the tornado warning has been canceled for Fayette and Tuscaloosa.
Okay, for the northern one. The southern one, there's still a tornado warning down for that one. So there's two different circulations we're monitoring here. The northern one that is moved out of Tuscaloosa County and Fayette County, they allowed that warning to expire. Again, this one down to the south, that one still continues. But even the structure of this storm does not look as impressive as it did just a few minutes ago, even about 30 minutes ago. Let's look at this down to the south, guys. This is in Sumter County.
Yeah, there's a storm of interest for National Weather Service for the Pickens, Sumter, Green in that area.
Yeah, let's look at this thing because this is kind of in that, Jennifer and Brandon, this kind of that environment that is more capable of producing a tornado. I think the one that's moving into Walker County is kind of moving out of that better environment. But this down here between ML and Geiger has me interested for sure, as it does have a better potential to produce a tornado now. Let's look through the Columbus radar, and let's just look at this thing together. And you see that little spot right there. You've got a little bit of a bounded weak echo region, what we call a beware, where you got, it looks like a little hole in the storm itself, and that's where your rotating mesocyclone is, your rotation, and that is between ML and Geiger. And then the stronger storm stretches up in Aliceville in southern Pickens County. That's the Sipsey River there, and that's the confluence of the Sipsey and Tombigbee right there, my finger on the triple point of Greene County, Pickens County, and Sumter. Let's go to the velocity and look at this thing together. Just want to watch the wind speed with that. And it's right there, that bad spot with the radar sight. Let me move this thing around just a bit and see if we can't get a better perspective maybe out of Birmingham. Yeah, it's just too far away. There's something
we
there.
We were talking about this earlier. This is that area where it's kind of in between radars, and it creates what we kind of a blind spot for us. We have to toggle between radars to kind of make an inference of what's happening because we can't really see what's going on at the surface.
Yeah, you're right, Jennifer. It's so far away, the radar beams are several thousand feet off the ground there because we're having toggle between Columbus and Birmingham, Jackson and Mobile. But this is going to move into better radar coverage area. But still, as it does that, it gets closer to a more populated area as well. And I see where the National Weather Service, John DeBlock, mentioning watching that Pickens, Sumter, Greene County storm like a hawk. If anything were to happen, it's going to be with that one. Let's go off to the north and let's just look at these other storms here. Again, it's 4:30 now. Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott watching WVUA 23. I do want to mention that we're also streaming on Facebook Live. So if you lose power, if you're not at home, you can't watch us on TV, you can watch us on your smartphone, tablet, or whatever you can get internet on, and you can watch us on Facebook Live. So just search for the WVUA 23 Facebook page. Still technically a tornado warning for North Tuscaloosa County. This storm still does look interesting. It has that hook echo feature. Now, the northern one that's moved into Parrish just does not look that impressive anymore. This one down here still has that kind of appendage on the backside of the storm. We'll put on the velocity and just look at this thing and see if we see any screaming evidence of a tornado with that. And, you know, it honestly looks more like straight line wind. But, Brandon, we've seen this look many times where the wind wraps around this little mini low pressure, essentially, with this storm. So you need to watch that down there.
And, you know, it doesn't take very much with the shear that we have out there for it to kind of wrap up. And I do want to make a clarification. The tornado warning for Walker County is still in place through 5 o'clock. So they haven't canceled it. They're going to let it ride out because there's several broad areas of rotation there. You saw on the velocity, it's a lot of strong straight line winds blowing around, but we still have a couple areas where that wind is trying to come together. So to be more safe than sorry, the National Weather Service is going to let that tornado warning for Walker County continue until 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that's probably best word advice, Brandon, because we saw this thing spin up so fast over the Tuscaloosa-Fayette County line. You know, if you're in Walker County, especially south of Jasper, Cordova, Parrish, let's stay sheltered for a while. Let's just let this thing come on through. If you're in a mobile home, stay out of a mobile home. Find that site-built structure or a community storm shelter. Find somewhere to go that you feel safe in your home. And just in case this thing were to spin down another tornado, I don't think there's a tornado here right now. I think the tornado's not there. It's dissipated, but there may be a new one trying to form. Let's go down to the south because I'm certainly interested in this storm that is, again, moving northeast. Let me look at this real quick. New update. Yes, still so far straight line, but I'm telling you, down here on the triple point of Jefferson, Walker, Tuscaloosa County, we may have another tornado try to develop within the next 20 to 30 minutes. For the storm that's down to the southwest, and this is the one that we're all kind of watching carefully, it's this right here. And now east of Geiger, there's Gainesville. This is the Tombigbee River right there. There's not a tornado warning for you right now, but again, there's the Tombigbee River. This is Greene County, West Greene, Utah. The Snotty area sits about right there, Gina. So again, this possible rotation, it is some rotation, is going to continue tracking northeast and across northern portions of Greene County. So again, look, just a heads up, if you are in Tuscaloosa County, towards Foster's, Romulus, Raff, even Tuscaloosa, while there's not formally a tornado warning, let's watch it.
And we're getting just some damage reports from Lamar County. It looks like some minor barn roof damage that we spoke about earlier on Mountain Gap Road. But there's also some minor power line damage and debris in roadways. Now this is around Sulligent, around Fine Circle, and Haines Street. So just beware if you have to use that route to get to where you're going, that you could encounter some debris on the road.
Yeah, and you know, best word of advice, if you are out traveling and you're in any vicinity of these storms, you may want to pull over for a while, let these storms pass on by. Let's just not take a chance for that, as there's a possibility these could produce a tornado. And, you know, I'm looking at a second radar source kind of behind the scenes here, and there's no doubt this one that's to the southwest of Tuscaloosa looks interesting, to say the least.
You know, I was reading a discussion that was just posted by the Weather Prediction Center, that they're saying that a mesolow has formed with that storm up in Walker County that is now enhancing the shear, the low-level shear, kind of in a broad area between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham and Meridian.
Tornado warning. Here we go, the storm down to the south. Weather Service now issuing a tornado warning for this. So, Brandon, we'll get back to you on that one. Tornado warning coming out for Greene County. And let's look at the warning polygon. There it is, okay. If you are in Sumter County to the northeast of Geiger on the Tombigbee River, if you're at West Greene, Snotty, Gina, you need to be in shelter now. The Knoxville exit on Interstate 2059, there's Utah. This is clearly north of Utah, but we got a rotating thunderstorm that's formed down here. And again, this is one of those spots of the state that if you're in Tuscaloosa and Northport, we watch carefully. Anytime there's a tornado down in this part of Alabama and continues northeast, it's going to move into big populated areas. So we're not saying there's a tornado down right now, but there's a storm that could produce a tornado that's moving out of Sumter County, crossing the Tombigbee River to the east of Geiger. Next up would be central portions and northern portions of Greene County, really the northern half of Greene County. And let me say this will not impact areas down to the south like Sawyerville that was very hard hit by a tornado a couple of weeks ago. This is going to be clearly north of you. Now, there may be an additional storm later, but right now this is not your storm. Let's go over to the reflectivity, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to look at Columbus, and let's just watch this thing together. Okay, there's our rotational signature right there on the southwest flank of the storm that has now crossed the Tombigbee River. This tornado warning goes until 5:15, so 5:15 moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So let's do a track on this thing where this potential tornado is going. And I say potential, this is not a confirmed tornado right now, but as we saw in North Tuscaloosa County, this could change very quickly. So let's do a path of this thing, show you who's going to be in the path of this potential tornado as it moves northeast at 60 miles per hour. And I tell you what, this is where your rotational signature is right there. And let me redraw that. I messed that up big time. This is moving northeast pretty quickly, 60 miles per hour. So if it does continue, it's going to cross Greene County, move into Tuscaloosa County here in just a matter of moments. We'll try that one more time. If not, I'm going to have to do it manually. This thing is being a little tricky on me. There's your tornado, your possible tornado, moving northeast just like that. I'm just going to clear this off. So if you are ahead of this storm in northern Greene County, if you are in even southwest Tuscaloosa County, let's be in shelter now. Let me draw this map manually real quick and show you, because our system's being a little wonky with that. So it's moving northeast just like that. So if this does continue, okay, there's not a tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County right now, but if this does continue, this is going to move across Greene County, West Greene, you're looking at 440, the Snotty area at 456, Foster's at 507, Coker at 513, Tuscaloosa at 519, Samantha 526. What's interesting about that time, Brandon? Tuscaloosa around 5:15.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, so if you, I don't even want to say that. If you recall, April 27, 2011, the tornado hit Tuscaloosa was at 5:15 p.m. That is a very odd coincidence on the timeline, but again, this is not an April 27 type tornado. There could be a tornado here. It doesn't matter if it's an EF0, EF1. It could be a threat to life or property. So this is the track of this thing. It's moving northeast. It will eventually move into central Tuscaloosa County. If this rotation continues, it could very well weaken. It could easily weaken over the coming time.
They're going to issue a new tornado warning for Jefferson and Walker. It's for the storm located over the Gorga Steam Plant or Good Springs right now.
Okay, so a new tornado warning in effect there. So you see the tornadic storm that's in now northern Greene County approaching West Greene. Got a brand new tornado warning now in effect for portions of Jefferson County and also portions of Walker County. And I tell you what, let me take you into that storm. Let's show you where it is. That's your possible tornado. This is the southern circulation. It just keeps on rotating. It continues to rotate a little bit, and the Weather Service going ahead and triggering that tornado warning now for generally the northern half of Jefferson County and extreme southeast Walker County. Very close to, as you mentioned, the Gorga Steam Plant there. Been there many times. So, again, this is crossing the river. And let's look at the velocity with this. I just want to look at the wind speed. Okay, and again, now look, this is a very similar look we just had in North Tuscaloosa County. We got strong winds that are predominantly straight line winds for the moment. This thing could easily wrap around. That's what the Weather Service thinks could happen, so they're trying to be precautionary, use some precaution here, and they're going ahead and issuing a tornado warning as the winds could easily wrap around and produce a tornado. We've seen this storm do this in the past. So again, if you are in, let's say, northwest Jefferson County, north of Hueytown, really north of Sylvan Springs on 269, that's Interstate 22. There's a Robbins Crossroads there. This possible tornado is going to be tracking in your general direction. So again, moving northeast at 70 miles per hour. That's incredibly fast motion to that storm. Put on the warning display, and you see the polygon. You got several polygons here. The original polygon included Cordova and Parrish. And I'll say this, and Brandon, we've been looking at this carefully. I don't see any evidence of rotation up here.
No, the rotation's kind of starting to broaden, but the one to the south, like I said, over 269, just southeast of the old steam plant there in Gorgas, it's really starting to wrap up.
Yeah, so the Weather Service going ahead and issuing that tornado warning. This could produce a tornado now. So just like the storm that was in the North Tuscaloosa, southern Fayette County area near Boley Springs, how fast it wrapped up, this could also produce a tornado very quickly. Let me go to wide view because we've got several storms we are watching. Again, we've got a tornadic thunderstorm in northern Greene County now that's moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. Technically, we do not have a tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County. But again, the storm is certainly in that kind of favorable environment that could produce a tornado.
Yeah, there's an update for Walker County. That thunderstorm that's now located over Cordova is moving northeast at 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we need to, here in just a moment, we're going to take our Summiton camera. I'm going to pull that up, and let's look at that together because we've got a camera that's overlooking the city of Summiton, and that will be a very interesting perspective if there is a tornado there. And we're not going to be able to see it just yet. We're looking over 78. And let me take you over to that camera, and let's just look at this thing together. So here is Summiton. And again, you're looking down at Highway 78. We're not going to be able to see anything yet, but this camera site will be quite interesting. We can't move this camera. This is a stationary camera overlooking Highway 78 in the city of Summiton, but we'll watch that camera. It's just a rotational signature does move right over that general area. And there's just so much rain involved with this. I don't know if we're going to be able to see the lightning there. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a good view of this or not. It's just a tremendous amount of rain. So as this tornadic circulation moves over the Summiton area within the next few minutes, it's going to be tough to see. So again, what you're looking at is a look at radar. We got a tornadic thunderstorm southwest of Tuscaloosa. That's in northern Greene County. That is a concerning storm that's down there to the south, and there's just not much to impede that inflow of unstable air into it. So it's one of those storms that is in a favorable environment to produce a tornado. There is another storm that is capable of producing a tornado very close to Gorgas, the old Gorgas steam plant. It's not there anymore. It's gone now, but the original Gorgas steam plant, and that one is concerning as well. So let's go into, first off, the one that is approaching the southwest Tuscaloosa County. And this storm is still got that hook echo feature that's coming up on the Snotty area in West Greene and Gina. And again, there it is there. That's Highway 14 that runs down to Utah. You see Utah there, then this runs down to the Sawyerville area. Again, this is well northwest of you. This is northwest of Utah. If you're in the city of Utah, there's no danger for this particular storm. But there's Clinton, there's Snotty, Mars Grove there, Benevola. See Pioneer, Gina right there. And then here's Tuscaloosa County. Got Ralph, Romulus is up here, Foster's, and then Tuscaloosa Northport off in the upper corner of your screen there. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, so Brett Adair is watching this, I believe. He says a very low wall cloud with a cone-shaped lowering northeast of Gainesville about 5 minutes ago. Okay. And I also want to pass along that we're now starting to get the damage reports from Boley Springs and Fayette County. They're just reporting trees in the roadway and structural damage. Again, very preliminary information that we're getting from that, and we'll probably get more information later, but that's what we know. But the storm in Greene County bears a lot of watching coming into a very populated area.
Yeah, it does. And the one to the northeast, Brandon, also is about to move in a populated area across North Jefferson County. That's approaching the Summerton area, which is right on the Jefferson and Walker County line. This storm down here to the southwest, intense thunderstorm. And Brandon, are you watching the lightning output on this? Have you noticed any change in lightning with this storm?
Let's see. I can actually kind of go back, and yeah, the lightning has kind of increased with it here in the last 15 minutes.
Okay, so that's indicating a stronger updraft, and that's things we look at to determine the future of this storm, what's it going to do. And again, the environment out ahead of this is conducive for producing a tornado, so there's really no reason this storm should weaken. I mean, it could. Storms have a mind of their own, but in terms of the atmospheric conditions out ahead of this, there's no true reason this thing should just fizzle out. Let's go to the north and look at the storm that is in Walker and Jefferson County, on the Walker-Jefferson County line.
It's beginning to wrap up very quickly.
Okay, the one up here moving to Jefferson?
Into Jefferson
Brandon?
County, yeah, toward Adamsville.
Okay, let's go over to that and show you what we got going on. Another thunderstorm that's ramping up. This may end up being just like the Boley Springs tornado. Yeah, there it is. And you can see that hook feature developing there. See how the heavier rain's kind of pushing out. What we've got is winds that are rapid around the circulation, and a lot of times you can occlude a tornado from that. Let's see the velocity. Yeah, there it is. Okay. No doubt this thing right over the Short Creek area, that's Sylvan Springs, this has a potential to produce a tornado. Our Summerton camera to the north of this, I don't think we're going to be able to see it based off the fact that this thing is wrapped up totally in rain. We're going to be kind of on the wrong side of this thing to be able to see a tornado. You mentioned the storm chaser Brett A there is on the Greene County storm, watching it very carefully. And yeah, let's do that. Let's go over to our Summerton camera in Walker County. Look at that. Very heavy rain, strong winds there. You see the kind of sheets of rain below in there. Down there, that's Highway 78. That's at the bottom of your screen. The city of Summerton sits about right there, and you just can't see it. Technically, I think the tornado is going to be just south of you, but it is an awfully close call. Even if you're not in the tornado, you have the potential for damaging winds with that particular storm. In fact, we really see that. I mean, look at the curtains of rain below in there. The winds are intense. See people driving along Highway 78 down there at the bottom of your screen. We certainly encourage nobody to be traveling in conditions like this, as that is certainly not a good idea given the fact that we have a possible tornado not far from there, plus a very heavy wind and rain. So we'll go back over to our Tuscaloosa camera, and the temperature 74 in Tuscaloosa. The air has not worked over at all. There is a very unstable air mass in this part of the state, so as that storm comes out of Greene County, we need to watch that carefully. So again, here's what we're looking at. Two tornadic thunderstorms, one in northern Greene County, one in northern Jefferson County. Let's go to the north of the Jefferson County storm. We just showed you the Summerton camera. I want to take you back into that. Let's just look at the velocity signature together. Yeah, this thing no doubt is wrapping around, so very strong evidence of a tornado now. That's going to be coming up on Adamsville. There's a Robbins Crossroads. All right, so you see Bessie Junction there. There's Adamsville, there's Forestdale. That is the Interstate 22 corridor that runs up to Jasper, from Birmingham to Jasper. And if we got a tornado, it could be one developing down here. So let's tell you what, let's take our velocity so we can see the wind inside of this thing. Yes, strong evidence there could be a tornado trying to develop. Now, there may not be a tornado down at this very second, but I'm telling you, within 5 minutes, this thing could wrap up. Brandon, we've seen this happen already. This thing could wrap up. It's crossed that Highway 269 corridor. Again, I haven't heard any damage so far. Have you guys heard of anything out of this yet?
Besides the Boley Springs damage in Fayette County, I haven't heard anything lately in about the last half hour or so. Have you? You know, we're watching two storms right now. So we have the northern storm and the southern storm. So the one for Jefferson County that we're watching, this is coming into the Adamsville area as we speak, and it's wrapping up very quickly. It has the same signature that we saw when it was in southeastern Fayette County, when it wrapped up very quickly over Boley Springs and headed toward the Oatman area. As we look at the radar, I'm not seeing any kind of debris signature as we speak. But again, it doesn't take very long for those kind of storms to wrap up and produce a tornado. But now when we go back to our southern storm, this is going to be the storm that could be affecting Tuscaloosa. Right now it's in northern Greene County near the Union community. You know, we had Brett A there. He's a certified storm chaser. He knows what he's doing, and he said that he saw maybe a wall cloud of some sort, a lowering, and this is going to be moving into a very populated area here in the next half hour. And so Tuscaloosa, you need to be paying very close attention to the weather. Again, over the next half hour, 5:30, as the storm starts moving into Tuscaloosa, you have that threat of a tornado possibly coming in.
And we also just got an update on the tornado warning in Jefferson County. At this point, it is located in West Jefferson, about 8 miles south of Dora. That storm that's capable of producing a tornado is moving east at 65 miles per hour.
I think we're about to have a tornado down in North Jefferson County. Let's take that full and let me show you what we got. The velocity couple is really wrapped up. We were just talking about, so I think we are about to have another tornado touchdown in North Jefferson County. If you are in the Adamsville area, you need to be in shelter now. As in Graysville especially, Graysville and Adamsville, shelter now, Gardendale, as do have a potential tornado developing there. All right, so here's our hook echo feature. Let's look at the velocity. And I'm telling you right now, this thing is wrapped up. Okay, there it is. I think we got a tornado. Could be down about to cross Interstate 22. There's Robbins Crossroads, but I think we've got a tornado about to touch down. There's Adamsville, Brookside there, Vulcan, Jet. You're all under the gun. That's Highway 5 that runs into Walker County, runs off to the northeast. So, again, this is a dangerous thunderstorm that may be about to produce a tornado right there. Let's look at the debris tracker. And I don't see anything there right now. This thing has already crossed the old Gorgas steam plant area. But again, there's Interstate 22, Highway 5, Adamsville, Brookside. You got to be in shelters. We have a potential tornado that could be developing right now. I want to go down to the south because we've got another tornadic thunderstorm that's in Greene County now that is going to move into southwest Tuscaloosa County that also has that potential to produce a tornado. Don't have anything confirmed right now, but it has the potential to produce one that's coming out of Greene County. Let's put on the velocity signature with that.
And we just got an update on the Greene County storm. It's now located over Union, about 12 miles north of Utah, and it's moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. This goes until 4:50 p.m. tonight.
All right, so again, this is moving across northern Greene County. There's your rotational signature, very close to the Snotty area. That's Buck Creek Road there, so this is going to move across into Tuscaloosa County. Again, the rotation is not incredibly intense from Columbus. Let's look at perspective from Birmingham if we can. And again, you still see that evidence, so no doubt some rotation there. So far, I don't see a tornado warning yet. So far, I don't see a tornado warning yet for Tuscaloosa County. That could change. So again, just a heads up, there's Ralph Foster's. Romulus sits right there. That's Wesley Chapel Road there in West Tuscaloosa County. Again, technically we don't have a tornado warning yet, but we could have one at any time if this rotation is to continue or to ramp up even more. I do want to put on the reflectivity. Let's try Birmingham, just see if we get a good perspective of this thing. And again, that southwest flank of that storm is where that possible tornado could be. Again, this is a possible tornado, not a confirmed tornado, but it's now northeast Greene County. Gina sits about right there at the top of your screen. There's Snotty. There's the Knoxville exit where Highway 11 runs underneath the Interstate 2059 corridor, or over the interstate. So the Knoxville exit's there. You go down to the south and you go to Utah. That is the Black Warrior River that runs into the Moundville area in the southwest Tuscaloosa County. Possible tornado with that, but again, this is not a confirmed tornado. It's a storm that we need to watch carefully for cities like Tuscaloosa and Northport. And again, we're looking at about 25 to 30 minutes if this continues, and it will be in Tuscaloosa if it does continue. So again, there's no tornado warning for Tuscaloosa yet, but if the rotation continues or increases any at all, the Weather Service may require that. Let's go to northern Jefferson County. Got a very dangerous thunderstorm that's wrapped up right over the Graysville area. And again, this is, you see Flat Top, there's Robbins Crossroads. Let's look at the velocity signature. And I'm telling you, Bessie Mines Road is where this thing is. Really tight evidence of rotation. So this is going to cross Vulcan. That's Jet. Again, Highway 5. And then next up will be Kimberly and Morris in North Jefferson County. This will be north of Gardendale. So again, a heads up for Kimberly and Morris in northern Jefferson County. The potential tornado could be over you at any time. Okay. I see a note from the Weather Service office in Birmingham. They are currently not going to trigger a tornado warning in Tuscaloosa County yet. They're watching the rotation very carefully, but so far they are not going to trigger a tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County yet. So if the rotation changes any at all, they will include Tuscaloosa County in that tornado warning. So Greene County continues, Tuscaloosa not. We are zoomed into northern Jefferson County where a potential tornado could be developing now. Let's look at the debris signature. And I don't see anything there, but it's on Interstate 22 as we speak. There's Summerton right there. In fact, to tell you what, let's look at that Summerton camera and just watch this thing. I don't think we'll be able to see much with that. This is, again, from the city of Summerton. Very windy, tremendous amounts of rain with that. But the potential tornado is going to cross south of Summerton by a few miles. And I just don't think we're going to be able to see if there's a tornado down. I don't think we're going to be able to see it as it's just going to be too far away. All right, so we've also got a Bryant-Denny camera in Tuscaloosa, and that's a small camera on the corner of the screen. We've had a lot of lightning with this the storm that's approaching the Tuscaloosa area. Again, the National Weather Service, they have not issued a tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County, but Greene County does continue under that tornado warning with that rotation down there very close to the Snotty area, just south of Gina in northern Greene County. That's north and west of the Knoxville exit on the Interstate 2059 corridor. So that's what we're looking at there. Take you back over to radar, and that's what you got. You got several areas of storms that are quite intense that are capable of producing a tornado. One of those, again, that's coming out of Greene County. Technically, there's not a tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County, but that could change at any time.
You know, Richard,
Go ahead, Brandon.
They're watching kind of two circulations coming in to Tuscaloosa County, but just in the last scan or two, I'm getting a little suspicious of that circulation north of Knoxville coming into Tuscaloosa County near Foster's. And so out of the safety precautions, I would say if you're in Tuscaloosa South, just kind of be on the alert. You know, if a tornado warning is issued, you need to make sure that you are close to your safe place as soon as it is issued, because this is coming in to the Tuscaloosa area as we speak. But they're watching kind of two circulations coming into the city, and then that circulation over in Jefferson County, the very strong rotation, we might have a possible debris drop with that.
All right, so and also what you are looking at is the Alabama Power Camera downtown Tuscaloosa. We're looking off towards the west direction. Also, you see a little lane down there at the bottom of your screen that crosses the Black Warrior River. You see some of the buildings of downtown Tuscaloosa. And again, that is a camera we'll continue to watch as well. Let's go back over to the storm, as Brandon mentioned, that could have a tornado trying to touch down. That's in northern Jefferson County. This is going to be just southeast of the city of Summerton. We're watching that Summerton camera, but we just could not see any evidence of a tornado down with that. That could change. But again, I don't see any screaming evidence from that camera, as most likely it's going to be rain wrapped if there is a tornado down with that. So again, a tornado warning for northern Jefferson County. If you are in Kimberly and Morris and even Gardendale, we need you in shelter now. The potential tornado is right over the little community of Jet there. That's south of Robbins Crossroads. And again, that's what you got. That's Jet Road there. So that's Interstate 65. That's Highway 31. Morris sits there. Kimberly is up here at the top of your screen. That's on Highway 31, Interstate 65 corridor. There's Gardendale. You go down to the south. That's Newcastle. Gardendale points south. I think you're okay. But if you're north of Gardendale, we need you in shelter now, as we have that potential for a tornado that could be developing. Look at the rotational signature there. That is right over Lynn Crossing. That's the Highway 5 that runs north of Interstate 22. And again, this is going to be crossing Interstate 65 within a matter of about 5 minutes, moving generally off towards the northeast at a pretty good clip. So a dangerous storm there as well.
Richard, I really just want to reiterate that southern Tuscaloosa County needs to be watching this storm very closely. The latest radar trends are making me a little concerned.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're talking about there. Let's go back over to the South Tuscaloosa County one. I'm just going to say this, though, northern Jefferson, we are really concerned about this as well. Possibly a little bit of a debris signature there that's tracking northeast. Again, a very rural part of Jefferson County, probably the most rural part of Jefferson County you can find up here in this part of the state. But again, it is a storm of concern. Let's go down to the south and look at Tuscaloosa County. And this is another storm that has us concerned. And this is the one that is basically on the Interstate 2059 corridor now and is riding northeast towards the Tuscaloosa area. Again, there's still some rotation. There's not a tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County.
We now have a tornado warning for Bibb and Tuscaloosa County.
There's now a tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County. And if you hit that speaker over there, that's the UA alerts we're getting. We're getting the EAS alerts as well on our phone. So we now have a tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County.
Yeah, this is going to be located 7 miles northwest of Moundville, 12 miles southeast or southwest of Tuscaloosa, and it's moving northeast at 70 miles an hour.
So this is an incredibly fast-moving storm.
Yeah.
So again, we need you in shelter in Tuscaloosa, in Northport, and Taylorville. Let's put on the warning display and just show you that together. Here's the tornado warning polygon. It includes the University of Alabama campus down to the south towards the Taylorville area, Shelton State Community College. You are in the path of this potential tornado. There's the polygon, and again, this thing's moving northeast very quickly. This does include Romulus, Foster's. That's the Black Warrior River right there that runs west of downtown Tuscaloosa. We got a Northport. If you are at the Northport Civic Center and points north, you're not under the tornado warning. In fact, this is really from about downtown Northport down through downtown Tuscaloosa and Taylorville and Maxville Loop Road. This is going to be north of Moundville. There's no threat for tornado in downtown Moundville. This is going to pass us safely to your north. Our tornado warning canceled for Greene County because the storm's out of Greene County now. So again, that's the tornado warning polygon. Let's put on the reflectivity out of Birmingham. Let's just look at this thing together. And again, a strong evidence there could be something trying to develop down here near Ralph and Foster's that is south of Tuscaloosa, southwest of Tuscaloosa. So this potential tornado is going to move northeast just like this into downtown Tuscaloosa. I'd even say if you are in Northport, like the old downtown Northport, if you're in that area, point south, we need you in shelter now. This is going to track northeast, places like Holt, Alberta, Peterson, Brookwood. You're going to be in the path of this potential tornado. So again, we've got a supercell thunderstorm that is in the process of wrapping up. And if this thing can wrap up, it will drop a tornado. So again, we don't have a tornado confirmed, but we certainly have the potential there. So if you are in the Tuscaloosa area, we're here. I don't know if you can hear it over microphones here in our EAS alerts. Everybody's got a cell phone in here is getting those EAS alerts, and we're getting that tornado warning.
Hey, Richard,
Go ahead.
I just want to, this Tuscaloosa County storm, I believe there are two rotations. The one to the north's a little bit weaker, but we have one coming into downtown Tuscaloosa toward the Northport, kind of over the river. Okay. And then we have that one over Foster's. The one over Foster's is much stronger than the one coming in to the downtown area.
Yeah, and the Weather Service mentioning a very impressive bounded weak echo region developing with this storm. So there's no doubt that Brandon's talking about a weak area rotation up there, and then the more dominant rotation is near Foster's now, and that is tracking off towards the northeast pretty quickly now. There's not a confirmation of a tornado, but it is certainly one that could be down at any time. We've got a camera that is at downtown Tuscaloosa. This is the Alabama Power camera. That's Lurleen. That's the bridge that crosses over into Northport. And again, we're going to be watching down here in this part of the storm. And there's just a tremendous amount of rain here, so it's going to be hard to see if there's anything there or not. But again, this is the Alabama Power camera at downtown Tuscaloosa, there, the bearing camera there. So we got two tornadic storms now on the board. And so far, everybody else, if you're south of Tuscaloosa, there's no current issues ongoing. But again, for downtown Tuscaloosa, this is an urgent call to action as we have a tornado that could be in the process of coming down there.
And Richard, Lamar and Marion counties are no longer in the tornado watch.
Okay, good. So the threat is ending across northwest Alabama. I do want to show you North Jefferson County. Let's just look at this thing together, and let's look at the rotational signature and see if there's anything screaming evidence of a tornado like we saw earlier. Still evidence of maybe a tornado down that's coming up on Kimberly and Morris. If you're north of Gardendale, you need to be in shelter now for the potential for a tornado that could be developing there. But again, it looks like this one may be in a weakening process. So let's go back down to the south and let's go into the Tuscaloosa County tornado warning. As again, we have that potential for a tornado that's coming into town from the southwest side, and we don't have a whole lot of time before this moves right into Tuscaloosa. As Jennifer Herbert mentioned, this thing's moving to the northeast at 70 miles per hour. Incredibly fast motion of this potential tornado. I do note the time on the screen is now 5:04. Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott, if you are just now joining us, we've got full team coverage in the middle of a tornado event. We've got 2 tornado warnings we're working now, one that is a pressing tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County. It is not confirmed, but it is an oppressive storm that could easily produce a tornado approaching downtown Tuscaloosa, even as far south as Shelton State. We need you in shelter right now as the potential for a tornado is developing there. Again, this is right on top of the Foster's area. We'll go over to reflectivity out of Birmingham. This thing looked really impressive from Birmingham last time we looked at it, and still got that evidence of rotation on top of Foster's. This
No, I was just kind of just letting you know that I've been watching both of those rotations and both of, if you're anywhere in the city of Tuscaloosa, you're in the polygon anyway, so you need to be in a safe place. But especially the southern part of Tuscaloosa, from downtown south along 359 and along 69, you really need to be in a safe place. And we don't want to forget our friends in Jefferson County. We're still watching up toward Kimberly and Morris. So right now we have 2 tornado warnings, one for northern Jefferson and one for the central part of Tuscaloosa, including the city of Tuscaloosa. So that's going to begin coming into the southern side of town as we speak. And the lightning output has actually kind of increased with that storm coming into the town, into Tuscaloosa. And so that's kind of indicative of a stronger updraft, a stronger thunderstorm. So we really want to take this very seriously here in Tuscaloosa.
All right, so again, we've still got the supercell thunderstorm that is out here by itself now that continues to move off towards the northeast. Again, there's downtown Tuscaloosa. And again, this is not a confirmed tornado yet, but it's a storm that could produce a tornado essentially right on top of the Foster's area, and it's going to ride the interstate off towards the northeast. And I tell you what, let's do a path on this and show you who is going to be dealing with this tornadic storm. And again, it's just out here by itself. There's nothing to really impede the development and organization of this thunderstorm. So let's do a track on this and show you where it is going. And again, it's essentially over the Foster's area right now, moving off towards the northeast at, what was that speed on there, 70 miles per hour?
Yes, I do believe it was 70 miles per hour.
So about 70 miles per hour. So again, the Inglewood area near Shelton State at 510. That includes downtown Tuscaloosa. I know it doesn't show up on the map there, but again, downtown Tuscaloosa, you're clearly in the threat as well. Brookwood at 526, Abernan at 532. The Johns community as it moves into Jefferson County. We're looking at 539. Bessemer, Hoover, even downtown Birmingham. If this thing does continue to track off towards the northeast, we could see problems extended over into Jefferson County as well. So thunderstorm that is approaching the Tuscaloosa area as we speak. Let me clear this off, and let's go to our downtown Tuscaloosa camera. And again, what you're looking at, it's obviously pouring rain now, and you're looking from the Alabama Power camera. I just don't think we'd be able to see this thing as it comes in due to the fact there's so much rain involved. If you're on the south side of this storm, you'd be able to actually see what's happening. This is our Bryant Denny camera, and again, pretty much the same deal. It is pouring rain now in Tuscaloosa, and obviously it looks like some pretty strong winds here in the Tuscaloosa area, Brandon. You see the sheets of rain just blowing there.
Yeah, we're
here in
also
Tuscaloosa.
getting some hail that's almost 2 inches in diameter.
Where was that?
This is south of Tuscaloosa, northeast of Foster's.
I think you're seeing that on the radar.
Oh, yeah,
right?
see that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we might have some large hail starting to develop along with this storm. So, I talked about the uptick in lightning that just goes with it. A stronger updraft can also support, larger hailstones. And so with that strong winds that you're seeing coming through downtown on our Bryant-Denny camera and our downtown Tuscaloosa camera, I think that is with that push of wind, that was that broad rotation that went through downtown. The stronger rotation is still, about to come through the Highway 69, 359, I-20 area. So.
Yeah, it certainly looks like the tornado, if there's going to be one down, it's going to be south of downtown Tuscaloosa. I think we can clearly say now. Let's go back over. I'm going to go back over to radar and just show you that. So
yeah, Richard, this is now located over Shelton State Community College, just near, right near Tuscaloosa. It's still moving southeast at 70 miles per hour.
Northeast 70. So again, there's your hail core right there that's over the lows down on 69 at Skyland Boulevard. That's where the large hail core is. It's obviously pouring rain here in Tuscaloosa, University of Alabama campus. I really think the core tornado threat's going to be down here, really near and south of the Interstate 20 corridor in Tuscaloosa. So again, if you're in Inglewood or Taylorville, you got Shelton State Community College, Taylorville Baptist, Hillcrest area. Here's a new update. And again, there's your inflow notch where we could have a tornado down, but this is going to be north of Moundville. It's going to cross Highway 69, a very large hail core going on now. And do we have the camera from the roof of Bryant-Denny Stadium? And again, we're just looking out there, the very heavy rainfall. I'll tell you what, while he gets that shot set up, let's go back over to our radar. And Catherine, if you'll let me know when he gets that set up, we'll take it. But there's a large hail core that is approaching the University of Alabama campus. In fact, there's the large hail right there. And it looks like it's going to cross right there, University Mall. This is the large hail core that's just below Bryant-Denny Stadium. So again, we've got this pocket of large hail right here that's between 359 and McFarland Boulevard. And then down to the south, we've got your potential for the tornado that's going to be just down here to the south of that. So if there's a tornado down, I think it's going to be just south of downtown. It's going to cross just south of Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa on Interstate 359 and Highway 69, and then the potential tornado is going to cross close to the McFarland Mall area and Woodland Hills Drive area. That's where the potential tornado is going to be if there's one down. We got the shot from Bryant-Denny Stadium. If we can, Catherine, we'll take that. And this is from the stadium, and it is pouring rain here at Bryant-Denny. And I don't know if Steve can hear me or not, but I would be interested to see if we got any hail falling outside Bryant-Denny Stadium. If anybody out there can report that, if there's any hail on UA campus, because I know we're close to that hail core right now. So look at the curtains of rain. Again, this is from Bryant-Denny Stadium, looking off to the northeast. Again, you got Reese Pfeiffer Hall right there, and curtains of rain in the wind there. It's obviously horrible conditions here in Tuscaloosa. The tornado threat's going to be just on the south side of town. I'd say on the south side of town. I'd say just south of downtown. But there's no doubt there's a threat for tornado crossing below Interstate 359, crossing Highway 69 right there. So here's a look at the radar. There's your hail core. Bryant-Denny Stadium sits about right there. So the hail core is very close to the stadium and points south. We've got large hail, possibly golf ball size right there. That's going to move over Alberta City and Woodland Hills Drive. And then we've got our tornado potential that's crossing Highway 69 somewhere close to or just south of Lowe's towards Shelton State. This is going to cross the old McFarland Mall location. You know, remember where McFarland Mall was located. Obviously, part of the building's still there, but again, that's where it used to be. So this is going to move into Cottondale, and then it's going to move into the Brookwood area after that. So a potential tornado that could be down on the south side of Tuscaloosa in terms of the city of Tuscaloosa. This is not a confirmed tornado. This is radar indicated, and it's going to continue northeast just like that. There is 15th Street or Highway 215 that runs into Highway 11. This is going to be crossing very close to the VA Medical Center, the possible tornado. There's a Kennedy Mill Road there, and then you see Brookwood at the top of your screen. That is Highway 216 that runs off to Brookwood. That joins what is the 15th Street location or Highway 215, Veterans Memorial Parkway. But again, if you are near Taylorville towards McFarland Mall, we need you in shelter, as there's a possible tornado with that. I have not heard of any confirmation, Brandon, so far.
No,
which is good.
I haven't seen anything. They are continuing the tornado warning for northern Jefferson County. So just to kind of give everyone up there in Kimberly, Morris area, stay in your safe place. That circulation is kind of falling apart, but they're going to continue with the tornado warning, so we're going to respect that. So if you're in northern Jefferson County, again, east of Kimberly and Morris, you need to be in a safe place.
All right, and from the EMA here in Tuscaloosa, somebody's reporting a funnel cloud behind Inglewood Elementary School. That was when that came in, and then nickel-sized hail. And we know there's a large hail core with that that's essentially over University Mall right now. That is 82, that's 15th Street. DCH sits right there. That is University Mall location. We got a very large hail core sitting right there. And then we have a potential tornado on top of Shelton State or the Taylorville area. And this is going to be moving into the McFarland Mall location in Tuscaloosa. This is not a confirmed tornado, but it is a potential tornado that could be down. And if you guys see an official report, let me know as soon as you can. Let me quickly go off towards the north. I want to show you this too. We've got a tornadic storm in northern Jefferson County that is in a weakening phase. There's still a tornado warning technically for northeast Jefferson County, but this storm is clearly in the weakening process. But the storm down to the south is your more dominant circulation. So let me take you back into that. And this is in Tuscaloosa County, essentially on the south end of the city of Tuscaloosa. This is not going to impact the Northport area. In fact, the rain has stopped in Northport. Your potential tornado is going to be right here over Taylorville, crossing US 82, not far from McFarland Mall, maybe just a hair south, close to the Coca-Cola plant, and then moving across the Interstate 2059 corridor. This is moving to the Cottondale area. That's Fleetwood on 216. That's Brookwood, Abernathy, and then this is moving to Jefferson County here in just a matter of a few minutes. So, again, a possible tornado with a supercell storm that is moving northeast fairly quickly at 70 miles per hour. And as of right now, I have not heard of one single damage report from the storm. And considering the fact that it's in such a populated area, I would imagine we would know if it was down pretty quick. But so far, I have not seen anything with that. So that is good. Let's do, tell you what, let me zoom back into this thing and show you where the rotation is. This is now across Highway 69. That is Interstate 2059. You see Cottondale right there at Highway 11. The VA Medical Center, large hail falling there as we speak. There's the Fleetwood area. Brookwood's the top of your screen. Alberta and Holt sits out here. There's Holt. The Holt Lock and Dam on the Black Warrior River right up here. So again, the possible tornado is going to be down to the south of that. This is going to be south of that April 27, 2011 tornado path that came right through Tuscaloosa. This one's going to be just south of there. This is very similar to the December 16, 2000 tornado path that moved through this part of Tuscaloosa. But again, Cottondale, a heads up. Look at the hail core here. This is incredible. That's near Holt, just on the south side of Holt. There may be some larger than golf ball size hail out of that as well.
Yeah, if you pull it up on a correlation coefficient, which is usually what we call our debris tracker, it's actually showing the hail signature moving east of Tuscaloosa into the Holt area. And so that's pretty amazing.
So let's look at that. And yeah, you can see it right there. That's your large hail there. What we'd be looking for a possible tornado would be in this general area. So our radar is actually seeing different sized objects, raindrops and hailstones. Some of those hailstones very large. That's falling in the Holt area as we speak. So large hail in that part of Tuscaloosa. I'll look at the velocity signature. And again, I will say this, I don't see much rotation with that right now. The rotation looks like it has significantly weakened in Tuscaloosa. We'll take that. And again, I haven't heard of any reports of damage. So
yeah, the National Weather Service just basically said exactly what you did, that the circulation in Tuscaloosa is no longer that impressive. However, the hail core is. So I think our biggest concern at the moment is going to be the hail.
Definitely going to be the hail. I mean, that kind of snuck up on us. We weren't anticipating anything big with hail, but you know that we can get surprises. We have that little bit of instability kind of working its way in at the last minute that can help with the updraft of the thunderstorms, kind of help hold that hail in to make it a little bit larger before it, comes down. But, we still want to focus on that tornado threat, even though there's a big hail threat. There is still a tornado warning for eastern Tuscaloosa County. I believe that goes until 5:45, and so
And I just got some damage report in Jefferson County. There's an 18-wheeler blown over on Interstate 22, and they're thinking there was a possible tornado.
Yes, we had that tight couplet pop up there, not far from Summerton area. I just got a report from one of our storm spotters, Justin Hindman. He was near the circulations that crossed through the south side of Tuscaloosa, and he was saying that the straight line winds rapid around the circulation around 75 miles per hour. And that was down there close to Shelton State. Also got some reports, firefighters down there near Shelton State and Inglewood that saw a funnel and possible debris with that as it moved across the Shelton State area. But again, clearly the rotation is really weakened significantly. Hopefully that trend will continue, but
and yeah, just
can't guarantee that.
The Jefferson County, the tornado warning has expired.
So, yeah, they're going to allow that tornado warning to expire for Jefferson County. The structure of the storm does seem to be changing just a bit. It's not as impressive as it was just a few minutes ago. We had that impressive hook echo feature when it was southwest Tuscaloosa. And, again, this storm seems to be kind of getting a little more ragged for the moment. Certainly the velocity signature is not there anymore. However, and the storm's still obviously impressive, but the large hail is clearly a main threat from this particular storm now in the Fleetwood area approaching Brookwood. But in terms of the rotation, it has considerably weakened with that storm. Let me zoom out just a bit, and let's just look at this thing together. I want to change radar sites, and again, what we're looking at is out of Birmingham. Let me look from Columbus. Let's just try to get a good perspective of this thunderstorm. And again, so far I've not heard of a single damage report in terms of anything significant in Tuscaloosa. We'll take that because that is not always the case whenever we have a tornadic supercell, especially moving across a populated area. Now, from the Columbus radar site, I'm still seeing some fairly strong evidence of rotation over the Cottondale area. Now, this may be rotation that's a few thousand feet up and not necessarily down at the ground level.
We're getting that tornado warning continued in Bibb and Tuscaloosa until 5:45 tonight. That is now located over Lake Wildwood, about 7 miles southeast of Holt. That's moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. And it also looks like there's numerous trees down in Jefferson as far as damage reports. And they're saying that they think it's more associated with the wind, the thunderstorm winds.
Oh, really? Yeah, the straight line. We saw from that Summerton camera, wind was just whipping there. And from Tuscaloosa, obviously conditions are much more improved. And in fact, can we take the Bryant-Denny camera, Catherine Full? I do want to see that. And this is from Bryant-Denny Stadium. I'm going to turn this camera off towards the east, and I don't think we'll be able to quite see much yet. There's still clearly some elevated rotation there that's east of Tuscaloosa, and the tornado warning does continue. Let me pan this camera around. Let's just look at this. Hopefully I won't make you too dizzy there. So this is looking back towards that storm, and again, most likely there's just going to be so much rain involved, we're not going to be able to see much. But if there were a tornado down, it's going to be there to the east of Tuscaloosa now. So again, there's no damage in the city of Tuscaloosa from this rotating thunderstorm, and that is incredible that we haven't had damage from that storm because this thing really looked impressive for a while. So again, from our Bryant-Denny camera in Tuscaloosa, we're looking off towards the rotation, what's left of the rotation that's out here towards the east, towards Cottondale, and you just can't really see a whole lot. There's so much rain involved with this. Again, but there is your cloud bases off to the east of Tuscaloosa. Just for reference, that is DCH, the medical center in Tuscaloosa, the hospital, and if there is a tornado, it's going to be off in that direction, off to the east, but there's so much rain involved, we're just not going to be able to see it. So go ahead.
We're getting a report from the McFarland Mall area, so the old McFarland Mall area, of quarter-size hail. So, we had some hail move through the southern part of the city, and now we're getting verified reports now that we saw quarter-size hail. So, hail could be a possible threat with this storm.
Yeah, and that just shows how strong the updraft is. And I'll tell you this, Brandon, I'm really honestly surprised this storm wasn't able to do much more in terms of tornado based off how strong it was able to get. The wind shear's there. a very powerful updraft to create large hail. We are fortunate we didn't have a big tornado touchdown from that.
Right, and
that
it's
storm.
still very strong.
Yeah.
You know, I checked the lightning display here just a moment ago, and it's still very vivid lightning, just how it was when it came over Tuscaloosa. So the storm hasn't weakened.
Yeah.
It just might be going through a restructuring phase with the rotation.
Yeah, that is incredible, though. The strength of this storm had all indications to produce a tornado, and so far we have not had any major damage out of that. So let's go into that storm. And, you know, it does look like it's made more of a right turn. It may be moving more east-northeast rather than northeast compared to earlier. But, again, that's what we're looking at there. So let's go into the storm real tight. This is our only tornado warning, by the way. There's no additional tornado warnings. And Brandon, I don't see anything else out there that could even produce a tornado.
Not right now. You know, I've been looking. This is the main storm, that's in our area. But, we have a couple more storms coming toward the Meridian area. But that back line is actually coming through Fayette and Walker counties now as we speak.
Yeah, that back edge, that's it. Once that gets on through, you are done in terms of severe weather potential. So, look, there's no doubt this is a rotating thunderstorm. This is a supercell. It's producing large hail. It has that hook echo feature. Again, there's coaling right there. Vance, the Mercedes plant sits right there. This is going to be just north of coaling. If there's a tornado down, it's going to be on the north side of the Interstate 2059 corridor. Tuscaloosa, the rain is ending temporarily in downtown. There's more rain coming, by the way. This isn't it. But in terms of from this isolated supercell storm, the rain has ended here in downtown. Let's look at the velocity signature with this and just watch it together. Again, there is no low-level rotation with that, which is incredible. The structure of this storm is impressive, but there's nothing that's down on the ground in terms of rotation. And we're pretty close to the radar site. The radar site's in North Shelby County, so we're not far away from that. So we should be sampling winds pretty low in altitude. And if there were a tornado down, I do think we would know about it pretty quick. Let me tell you what, I'm going to take it out to a wide view since, at least for the moment, we don't see screaming evidence of a tornado down with this storm. Let me show you everybody out there because I know there's other people watching from other parts of Alabama. Let's put it on the Birmingham radar. And again, you got that one dominant storm there. The storm that's moved out of Jefferson County that produced at least two tornadoes had the tornado over Boley Springs and Fayette County, the Fayette-Tuscaloosa County line. Another potential tornado touchdown in northern Jefferson County. That storm has since weakened, has moved to more rain-cooled air in Blount County. The storms back towards the west are not that impressive. Okay. The warnings, the storms back off towards the west are not as impressive. I don't see any evidence of a tornado with that. This is clearly our dominant storm, and I believe the Weather Service mentioning they're not going to issue a tornado warning downstream, right?
They're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay. And I'll say this, and that's probably a good call based off of the fact that we got large hail out of this, and I would say, strong wind potential as well. Justin was down there on the storm as it moved through Tuscaloosa, and he had 75-mile-an-hour winds down there over the southern side of town towards the Shelton State. So that is certainly strong winds that can bring down trees and power lines. Structure of this thing seems to be changing. I would be interested to see what kind of instability is out ahead of this thing. I haven't checked in a while to see what kind of Cape values and what the shear looks like out there.
Very marginal. When you get toward Birmingham northeast, you're in rain-cooled air.
Yeah.
Not much instability, but we still have plenty to work with south of Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of pulling up behind the scenes here, meso analysis, because I have not looked at this in a while. It's one thing when you spend time on the weather wall, you don't really get a chance to look at other things behind the scenes. And, you are right, Brandon, the northeastern tongue of the instability is in Tuscaloosa County. So
right.
North of there we're stable, south of there we're unstable. And the winds are still out of the south, so we still have that low-level jet that's kicking into these storms.
Well,
so
I would still watch this storm very closely because it might be riding a boundary between the rain-cooled air to the north and that warm, moist air that's trying to come north. So they're colliding, and that storm might be riding that, and that's why we're getting a little bit of that more enhanced convergence, causing that hail to be more, might be having some more hail.
Yeah, and the wind shear is incredible. And that may be a limiting factor, too. is the fact the wind shear is so strong. I mean, we're looking at, almost 1,000 meters square per second square over Tuscaloosa and points north. So, I mean, you get wind shear that high, the updrafts are being ripped apart. They're not able to sustain the rotation. And I think that's what's happening, Brandon, across much of our area. These storms, they try to go up and the tops of them get ripped out. And we're just not able to sustain rotation because there's not enough instability for this to happen.
We're seeing a flood advisory for Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, that's something that we mentioned is we need to mention more is the flooding potential. And I tell you what, you guys seen any pictures over there so far? I see somebody tweeted me from Inglewood, and they could see the rain-wrapped circulation, but they couldn't see a tornado down with that. So again, we got a storm that is still capable of producing a tornado that's in East Tuscaloosa County. That's now crossing north of the Interstate 2059 corridor. That's Brookwood and Abernat. Got the Johns area. The National Weather Service office in Birmingham went ahead with a severe thunderstorm warning for that particular storm. And let's see. Just checking real quick. So I'm getting some pictures sent in now. Got some damage in Samantha at Northside High School. Quite a bit of damage up there. Their high school football scoreboard's knocked over.
I can show the picture.
Oh, you got, okay, yeah. All right, so you got that. Now, I believe...
It's up on the weather iPad if you want to...
Okay, yeah, mirror that if you would, Brandon. And so we got some damage up at Northside High School at Samantha. Most likely this was straight line winds that was wrapping around the circulation. Okay, go ahead and take that picture. Let me step off, okay? Yeah, that's Northside High School. That's the football field, the scoreboard there that had some strong winds in that part of the state. And I know a lot of folks up there. My kids go to school there, so that's their area. So, yeah, that's over in Samantha, Northside High School. So that's what happened up there. Had several reports of people seeing funnel clouds, but they didn't see a tornado with this storm. All right. And I'll tell you what, Brandon, I'm going to give you my phone here because some people are sending me pictures of some lowerings with that. And if you can get that on Twitter, and we'll show that on air if we can. So that's what you're looking at. That's some damage up at Samantha, Northside High School. Weather Service, they're going to continue the tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County. They're going to let it ride until 5:45, so another 15 minutes. But again, the Weather Service decided to issue severe thunderstorm warning for Jefferson. Let's go back over to radar. And again, still got that thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado. There's not much rotation at all with it now. The storm seems to be disorganizing. It's on the edge of the instability. There's a lot of instability south of there. That's that fuel, that energy source you need for these thunderstorms. And as they move out of that instability, they just kind of fizzle out. That's what happened to our north, to the one that moved across North Jefferson County. When it moved out of Tuscaloosa County, it produced a tornado up there, produced another tornado in northern Jefferson County, then has weakened quite a bit since then. So let's go back out to a wide view, and I just want to show everybody out there. We've got other storms ongoing, and we do need to check those for any rotation, but it looks like more of a mess of rain and thunderstorms. To see what's down here below meridian. Storms down there we'll need to watch carefully. Those are in instability. There's a lot of unstable air down there. So again, if you are below Demopolis, it is incredibly warm and humid. The instability is just maxed out down there. So we'll need to watch the storms below meridian. So that is something of interest as well. Let's go to the west. I just want to check these storms over Pickens County in northwest Tuscaloosa County, if any sign of rotation.
And Richard, I've got that picture pulled up from Tuscaloosa from when that storm came through. This is Upper Holes Road in Tuscaloosa. So, I mean, you can kind of see that lowering toward the back right there. But, other than that, that's kind of what came through the Tuscaloosa area about a half hour ago.
Yeah, we had all kinds of lowerings and people reporting funnel clouds with that storm. But so far, I've not seen any reports of it actually touching down and producing damage. If it did, perhaps it's over timber area before it got into Tuscaloosa. But No doubt this thing had some mean-looking low rings that came into the Tuscaloosa area. So let's go back over to radar, and again, we're looking at the velocity, the wind. I don't see any evidence of rotation with any other storms out there. I'm just going to kind of pan around a little bit, and let's just check this together and see what we've got. And again, nothing down here to the south. Let's go down to the south. The storms below meridian. You know, we haven't really talked a whole lot about that. I don't see anything down there, so that's good. So let's go back over to Birmingham radar, and let's go to the storm that's still on the board. That's in Tuscaloosa County, about to move into Jefferson County, moving northeast at 70 miles per hour. And Brandon, did the Weather Service office in Birmingham, did they put a tornado tag on that severe thunderstorm warning? They just put severe?
I believe they just went with severe, so they don't have that tornado possible tag with it.
Okay, so that's good. That means they are confident right now there's not a tornado with it. So let's go into that storm, and again, this is for East Tuscaloosa County. This is clearly well east of the city of Tuscaloosa now. Abernat, Woodstock area, you're still technically under a tornado warning.
Yeah, we've got
Bibb
another
County.
10 minutes left on that warning.
Okay, yeah, so they're going to let it ride for 10 more minutes, and then after that, it'll be totally in Jefferson County. There's Bessemer, Greenwood area. You go up towards downtown Birmingham. You got Oak Grove out here. That's where you're going to have possibly some large hail and damaging winds. But I will say this, the hail course seems to have diminished a bit. Maybe still some hail around the Abernat area. I would expect anything very large, maybe a pea-size hail or nickel-size hail at the largest compared to what came through Tuscaloosa. No doubt we had a stripe of large hail move right across the center part of Tuscaloosa, and a lot of people reporting that large hail. And that storm has now moved totally out of the Cottondale area, the Coaling area, but Abernat, Johns, Bessemer, McCalla, still, we got this dangerous storm, and, you know, best word of advice, I'd still go to shelter if you're ahead of this thing, even if you have a severe thunderstorm warning in Jefferson County, northern Shelby County, still a severe thunderstorm warning, including the Hoover, Helena area, Indian Creek Village there, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, or Indian Springs Village, excuse me, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. So again, that's this storm racing northeast towards Bessemer, Fairfield, Homewood area as well. So far, so good.
Just getting some reports
wow.
of some power lines down on I-22, yeah.
Those are the high tension power lines. Those probably, yeah, that's some pretty strong wind it takes to do that. So that's that tornadic storm that moved to the north of Birmingham. That was over the I-22 corridor. And we continue to get reports of damage from that. So let me take you out to wide view, and let's look at the reports so far. And I will say this, there's not going to be many. Most of the reports have been very isolated. Okay. Okay. Hey, Ajane, can you hear me?
Hey, Richard, we are currently driving on Highway 43 on our way towards Northside. We heard that there was some damage in the school area and in that area, so we're going to go down there and see what's kind of going on and what they're experiencing. As of right now, as we're driving, there's no rain. We've got some dark clouds in the area, but no rain. Doesn't seem like the winds are picking up anything. So, of course, we'll keep you updated with more information once we get towards Northside. We're a little bit outside of Northside, maybe about 10 more minutes until we get into that area.
Yeah, you're crossing past Winn-Dixie right now on Highway 43. I know exactly where you are. You're coming up on the Lakeland area, coming up on Tierce Patton Road. So you're going to be moving into that damage path of the wind or tornado up in Samantha. So, Ajane, thank you for that update. And again, when you get up there, just give us a holler back of what you see going on in Samantha. You see the lightning from there, live shot there as they do continue to travel up Highway 43. And again, they just crossed the middle area, Rose Boulevard area, and continue moving up 43 towards Samantha, where there was some damage at Northside High School in that area. And most likely that was straight line wind damage. Based off what we're looking at, but again, that could have been a potential tornado as well.
So,
ahead,
Richard,
Brandon.
I've got the power outage map actually pulled up on the weather iPad because, you know, we had that report of the high tension lines being down, and we're currently reporting statewide 11,683 reported outages, and actually the two main counties that we're worried about that have the main outages right now are Fayette and Greene. Of course, you see Walker's kind of highlighted there, and Pickens and Tuscaloosa. We're getting, some power outages with these storms as they roll through. We're also getting power outages just from the gradient winds out ahead of these thunderstorms. They're gusting 35 to 40 miles per hour. So, the reports of the power outages are beginning to rise, and of course, that's what we expected with these high winds.
Yeah, and so far we've got two tornado icons popping up on our map. We'll go back over to radar, and interested to see those power outages. So, we had that tornado touch down far north Tuscaloosa County and southern Fayette County near the Bowling Springs area. That was northeast of the Samantha area, dealing with that. Go ahead, Jennifer.
I've got
something?
Alabama Power pulled up, and it looks like there's a little over 9,000 people without power right now.
Oh, so they're updating that number as we go. And I tell you what,
they're watching the Jefferson County storm again. It's starting to wrap up.
Let's go back into that storm, and let's just talk about that. So again, I'm going to put back on the Birmingham reflectivity, and this is the tornadic storm that is coming out of the Tuscaloosa area that continues off towards the northeast. And technically there is, again, a severe thunderstorm warning for Jefferson County, but we're seeing some evidence of potentially some rotation. Put on the velocity display here, and yes, I see that right over the county line of Jefferson and Tuscaloosa County. So again, the Weather Service is watching this spot right here for possibly new tornado development.
They've just issued a new warning for Jefferson and Shelby counties until 6:30, until 6:30, sorry. This is located near Lakeview, about 8 miles southwest of Bessemer, and it's moving northeast at 60 miles per hour.
Okay, so thank you, Jennifer. We've got a new tornado warning just being issued for, again, portions of Jefferson, Shelby County. This thing's primarily going to stay near and north of the Shelby County line, but again, if you are near the Jefferson-Shelby County line, this dangerous storm could still produce a tornado there. So let's go back over to the reflectivity, and I just want to look at this thing together, and again, there it is. It's still an intense supercell thunderstorm, and storm spotter Brett Adair is on this storm, and he's watching it. He noticed a major uptick in lightning from this as he's traveling from the backside of the storm into it. So, again, we're seeing more lightning indicating a stronger updraft once again. So, new tornado warning for Jefferson County. This will, let me zoom you out just a bit. And, again, that was 6:30, Jennifer. Is that right on this? Okay. So there is your polygon. There's your potential tornado. We do have some intensifying storms back in Pickens County. We need to carefully watch for a potential of damaging straight line winds, maybe another tornado. But clearly our dominant storm is this one coming out of Abernathy now into West Jefferson County. It's going to be on the McCalla area within a matter of minutes. So let's put on the warning. I just want to show you where the polygon is. There it is there. Technically, the tornado warning continues for East Tuscaloosa County, but I tell you now, it looks like the rotation is totally out of the county, out of Tuscaloosa County. So this is going to be allowed to expire in about 4 minutes. It's going to pop off our screen there. So here is the tornado warning polygon, and again, it essentially is from downtown Birmingham to about Helena. That's where that warning polygon is. So let's zoom in a little tighter and show you that. So a new tornado warning. This is a possible tornado. This is a radar indicated. It's not a confirmed one, but it has the potential to grow and develop into a confirmed tornado. So it's near the county line of Tuscaloosa and Jefferson County. Again, here's some of the communities in the path of this. You got Irondale up here. Downtown Birmingham, I'd say from a Red Mountain point south, that's where you're going to be under the gun. Indian Springs Village, you got Hoover. Helena sits right there. That's going to be north of Pelham. Lake Purdy area going to be under the gun for this possible tornado as well. Vestavia Hills. This is a very populated part of the world in Jefferson County, southern Jefferson County. McCalla's right there. That's the turnoff of 459 onto 2059 there. You take Interstate 20 into Bessemer. You take 459 around Greenwood, out of McCalla, Parkwood area, and then Hoover. You're going to be in the path of this potential tornado. It's moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So let me zoom out just a bit. I want to do a track on this thing, show you where it's heading. And these storms are racing off to the northeast. It's really incredible the speed, the forward motion of these things. They move at 60 and occasionally 70 miles per hour. These are fast-moving thunderstorms. So let's do a path on this. There's your potential tornado right there. moving northeast. I'll tell you what, let me redraw that. So again, communities in the path of this, we're talking about McCalla. You need to be in shelter now as we have that potential for a tornado that's essentially on top of McCalla, moving northeast at a fairly good clip of 60 miles per hour. And there you go. We got Greenwood at 551. Helena, we're looking at 556. Hoover, 601. Mountain Brook at 608. Irondale, 611. Trussville. And this continues. Eventually, Moody and Pell City will deal with this potential tornado in about an hour from now. So this is an hour-long path. This is how long it takes. In 1 hour, it's going to be right there. So if this storm continues, it's going to track in this path for 1 hour. Then it moves out of the path, and if we continue the tornado warning, we'll see. I don't know if it's going to make it past that. There's just no instability over there.
Yeah, I was about to say that the instability is kind of marginal as you get east of Birmingham.
Yeah.
And then you add on that a lot of shear, the thunderstorms can't make it. They'll get torn apart. And so, you know, the thunderstorm right now is very strong. It's very rooted. It's rooted at the surface, so it's able to sustain itself. So we'll have to see, you know. I mean, there's nothing south of it, maybe a couple showers south of it, but it's got clean inflow.
Yeah, and as long as it keeps that inflow of unstable air into it, it has that potential to produce a tornado. But again, there's no doubt it's running out of that better environment now. Let's go into the storm and let's take a look at it. Go in tight. We've got more storms, by the way, that's coming into the Samantha area, back towards Gordo and Carrollton, Aliceville dealing with that. And also, guys, if y'all want to keep an eye on radar too, on those particular storms, if anything's happening down there over in West Alabama. Don't see any screaming evidence of a tornado off reflectivity. So let's go back into this. And, you know, the storm in terms of reflectivity doesn't look overly impressive. It's no doubt an intense thunderstorm. Your potential tornado is going to be coming up on McCalla very soon. Let me put on the velocity. Let's just look at this and get a good idea of where
And
it
Richard,
is.
just to let them know, Fayette and Winston are now out of the tornado watch.
Oh, good. Okay, so Fayette and Winston now out of the watch. So, again, the risk continues to end from west to east, and that trend will continue. Tornado watch until 9 o'clock tonight. But, you know, I'll say this, Brandon and Jennifer, I don't see any rotation at all.
With the Jefferson County storm, right?
Yeah, with the Jefferson. I mean, this thing, there's no sign of rotation.
I'm looking at it from the Birmingham and the Columbus radar. Of course, Columbus is way
Yeah,
higher,
way up high.
but you know it has a better location, better rotation on it because it's looking up a little higher. So maybe that's got that mid-level rotation. It's not quite made it to the surface, but again, as we've seen multiple times tonight, it won't take much to get down to the surface.
Yeah, and you're right. We got to watch it carefully. There is a tornado warning in effect. And, you know, down here in this little bottom corner of that storm, if anything, it's going to wrap around right there and then come up on the Greenwood area, Parkwood, that's Elvira. This will be mainly north of Mossboro. Helena sits right there. So, again, if there's anything trying to develop, it's going to be here in far southwest Jefferson County. Let's look on the reflectivity and just kind of see if that makes sense, the spot. Put on Birmingham. And I tell you what, I'm going to take the watch warning off if I can. Okay, so yeah, this little spot down here, there's still some wind trying to wrap around. I know there's a tornado warning for Jefferson County. I don't see screaming evidence of a tornado. Look, this thing looked a lot more impressive as it came into Tuscaloosa, and as far as we are aware, it did not drop a tornado in Tuscaloosa. But it certainly looked much more impressive than this. But still, with that mid-level rotation, as Brandon mentioned, it needs to be watched because this thing could easily drop a tornado down at any time. So even though we don't really see anything at the ground level for the moment, that could change in a heartbeat. Let's go over to the debris signature. Let's just look at this together. And it's very noisy down there, but let's look at velocity. Again, this is going to be our spot, Brandon, right there.
Just south of Bessemer.
Yeah, just below Bessemer. If there's something spin up, it's going to be right there. So, again, Greenwood, 459. We don't want anybody traveling on 459. If you can avoid that area from the McCalla exit over to really the Hoover exit for now. And this is going to continue. And, yeah, so, again, we still got a tornado warning effect for Jefferson County. Let me take you out to wide view and put on the reflectivity. And again, we don't have any major evidence of rotation. There still could be a tornado there in Jefferson County. I don't see much with it, but let's still stay in our safe place if we are in southern Jefferson County, extreme northern Shelby County. I've got more storms back to the west that are moving across Pickens County, approaching Tuscaloosa County, at least northwest Tuscaloosa County, already dealing with that. But these storms will move into the Tuscaloosa Northport area, most likely within about 20 or 30 minutes. And this is it, by the way. This is our back edge of the storms. So once these move on through, your risk of severe weather will come to an end. So far we only have one tornado warning in our coverage area. That is for Jefferson County, and that is it, and northern Shelby County, and that's it. And there's a storm that's there, and it is rotating some. So let's go into that real tight. Let's just look at that. Go ahead, Jennifer.
I have some damage reports from Tuscaloosa EMA Director Nick, and please forgive me
Nick
if
Lawley.
Nick Lawley,
Yeah.
thank you. Road washed out at Spring Hill Church Road and Moccasin Branch in the 175 Mayfield community. I have a tree limb on a car at Milldale Road in Lakeview, and a car flipped. There is no injuries with this, but a car flipped south of Sealy Ann Mountain Road.
You know, Richard, we saw, I just checked with the station here in Tuscaloosa, you know, we saw almost an inch of rain in a matter of 30 minutes.
Oh, it was incredible.
So, you know, that makes sense with that road being washed out.
And we also have a report from Greene County that a pine tree uprooted and fell on the corner of a home.
Yeah, 1 mile west of Utah. So,
Yeah.
so we are seeing some reports of some scattered damage. Fortunately, there's nothing that we're aware of that's significant except for northern Jefferson County. That one seems to be fairly significant, but I've not heard of any structures hit. It moved through a very sparsely populated part of the world in north and western Jefferson County. Now we've got another tornadic storm that's in the southwest portion of Jefferson County. So we got that hook echo feature. Let's look at the velocity. If there's going to be a tornado develop, it's going to be right there. So let's look at the velocity signature. And you can see where it's trying to wrap around. It's just not having much luck. I do think, Brandon and Jennifer, the wind shear is too strong. As these things try to rotate, they get ripped apart. But still, let's stay sheltered. If you're in Greenwood, Parkwood, Hoover, Indian Springs Village, even Vestavia Hills, and everybody down to the south towards Lake Purdy, that is Highway 31 that runs out of Alabaster, runs into Jefferson County, then the Hoover area and Vestavia Hills and downtown. Interstate 65 runs down a major path for travel, especially this time of the day. It's 5:50 in the evening. A lot of folks are getting off work and having to deal with that.
You know, Richard, this is a little science behind, because we just got tweeted this.
Okay.
But kind of a little science behind the meteorology. The storm relative helicity right now across Birmingham is over 700. You know, we usually, anything over 150 to 200 is, you know, very conducive environment, sheer enough for tornadoes. You get over 500, 600, 700, you're getting, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's incredible. The only problem is the instability is too low. You know, you kind of, there's a sweet spot there. You can't have too much wind shear, or you can not have enough. And I think we're kind of on the borderline of too much shear, and that may be the reason some of these storms aren't actually producing a tornado.
And what we're talking about when we talk about what we're saying storm relative shear, we're basically talking about, you know, the speed between the surface and the, you know, as you go up in the air, how much does the wind speed increase as you're going up with height? That's what we talk about, you know, when you usually have a south wind and it turns with height. That's what you want with tornadoes, but, you know, you can always have too much as well.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of shear. You know, I will say this, if we had more instability today, the storms we've had could have produced a long track, longer tornadoes. So at least our instability is a little lower than it could be. We're getting a new update on our velocity signature, and let's watch this together. Again, if there's anything down here on the bottom side of the storm, it's going to be on the Jefferson-Shelby County line, the Elvira there. This is a fairly sparsely populated part of Shelby County. North Mossboro is a lot of timberland here. Indian Springs Village, obviously got a populated area like Helena down here. There's Hoover, Indian Springs Village. Once you get up here into this part of Jefferson County, there's a lot of houses, a lot of structures, and a lot of neighborhoods in this area. So once this tornadic circulation gets a little further to the northeast, if there's anything down, we're going to find out about it very soon. I do want to take, while we're waiting on that new scan, our Birmingham reflectivity. And again, you know, it's almost a disconnect. You know, I wonder, Brandon, if this is our storm, our updraft kind of being ripped apart.
You know, it would make sense.
I don't know if I've ever seen it do it like that. That would make sense, though. You've got your updraft being ripped apart, and what's left of it's down here. So if there is a tornado, it would be here, but we may see a new circulation kind of form, a new mesocyclone form right here.
I think that's what's happening on the
Yeah.
459 corridor, about to meet where Hoover is, where the Galleria is coming into, you know, when you're coming into the Galleria. Starting to get a little area of more pronounced wind, you know, coming together.
Yeah, and we still have a tornado warning. I mean, you know, I feel like we don't want you to let your guard down. There may be a tornado here. There's just not screaming evidence of it. So you're in a tornado warning polygon. Let's seek shelter, do something about it. You know, out of a car, if you're in a multi-level home, you want to get in that lowest floor. Get away from windows. You got to be away from that. Debris can easily fly through windows. Even in a weak EF0 type of tornado, it doesn't take much to blow your windows out. Debris can come in, and that can be a threat to your life. So we want you to be away from windows. Even if it's not a tornado, a severe thunderstorm, if there's strong straight line winds, that can pose a threat to life with falling trees. We've seen several trees falling across Alabama from the strong winds today, and that's what we got. Okay. Okay, we got a video of the hail that fell earlier at Veterans Memorial Parkway. This is over by Target. And again, we're just looking at this together.
Wow, look at that wind.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
You know,
Ashley Hughes sent this video in, so you can see where it's hailing there. Very, very strong winds. We have winds of about 75 miles an hour. Justin Hindman was reporting that, but they had some hail there where she was located, and that was that core that storm passed through just earlier.
well, you know, we thought the main threat might have been a tornado, but it looks like the main threat might have been damaging winds and hail.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, we had such strong winds just off the ground level, it didn't take much to bring that down to the surface. Let's go back over to radar, and I just want to take you out to a wide view just for a moment, because we've got a lot of other storms out there. This storm in Jefferson County obviously is intense and it's dangerous. It could produce a tornado. But we've got other storms ongoing that are not considered tornadic. We've got strong storms that are approaching the Tuscaloosa area in Northport again. These are in West Alabama. I want to go to our Bryant Denny. This is our Alabama Power camera downtown. Let's go to our Bryant Denny camera if we can. I don't think I've got it in there. Catherine, if we can take that Bryant Denny camera full, I want to show you that. Okay, this is at the stadium. And let me turn this camera off towards the west. We're going to watch these storms come in. Still very windy, though. Tuscaloosa got a 31-mile-an-hour wind gust out of the Tuscaloosa airport. So let's go back off towards the west. And what we're going to do is kind of scan the skies here as we got those intense thunderstorms approaching Tuscaloosa from the west. I'll zoom out a little bit. And that's a new water tower, the building on UA campus, not far from Publix in the Strip. So again, it's getting dark now. Sunset is right around 5:45 or 5:35. So we're looking off towards the west, towards these stronger storms coming into the Tuscaloosa area. You see the lightning there. And I will say this, as this second batch of storms comes in, there's going to be a tremendous amount of lightning with these. And that's what we got there. So there's no sign of a tornado that's approaching Tuscaloosa. This is a line of stronger thunderstorms that could produce strong straight line winds, but that is what we're looking at. So let's go back over to radar and show you what we got. Again, a line of thunderstorms approaching the Tuscaloosa area. Brandon, are you seeing anything in terms of rotation with that storm coming in?
You're talking about the one in Jefferson County, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're still seeing the winds just near, again, the Galleria, so 459 to I-65 right there, a little west of that where the Galleria is in Hoover. We're still getting some of those winds coming together, so you're talking about the winds going away and towards, you get that strong those strong winds mixing together, you have the chance of a tornado. That's looking like we're getting a signature on radar near the Galleria. It's moving northeast, so Mountain Brook, Vestavia Hills, might stay just south of Homewood. But this is going to come over toward the 280 corridor. So Inverness, I wouldn't say as far south as Chelsea, but Inverness and Mountain Brook on the 280. The Summit over there on 459. This is going to be moving toward the northeast, toward that location. And then after that, you're going to be toward Sterrett and Leeds over in Jefferson and Shelby counties. So,
hey, and Brandon, I'm getting some damage pictures in too. If you want to take that, and thank you, sir. We got damage coming in the Peterson area. Also, we're getting reports of damage in the Foster's area. So I've got people that are sending text messaging pictures. So if you want to grab those, and we'll put those on as soon as we get those. So just let me know. So here's what we got. We got a line of thunderstorms that's approaching the Tuscaloosa Northport areas. It stretches back into the Gina area near the Sipsey River of northern Greene County, southern Pickens. These are intense thunderstorms. They are not showing any major sign of rotation, but they are worth watching as they are moving into a fairly decent unstable environment. So again, these storms right here from Samantha lined up through the Coker area back towards Aliceville. We got very heavy rain falling with that, and again, potentially some strong gusty winds. Let's look at the velocity signature with that. And yeah, this is not a surface-based storms, I don't believe. This looks more like an elevated storm. So it's going to be noisy when they come in. There's a lot of lightning involved with that, but I don't see much of a tornado threat for the storms coming into Tuscaloosa at the moment. However, we will watch them carefully. So let's go over to the tornadic storm that is in southern Jefferson County on the Jefferson-Shelby County line. That is just north of the Helena area, very close to Hoover. And Brandon, I don't see any rotation at all with this.
No, it started to kind of broaden out again. It's looks like more of a damaging wind threat.
I think so, and we really need to mention that too for people that are in southern Jefferson County, northern Shelby. There could be some fallen trees with strong winds here. So even though we're not seeing a big tornado threat, go ahead.
Just to back that up, we are getting reports of power lines and trees down in Jefferson County.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, that's what you're going to see out of this storm. Even if you don't get a tornado, you're going to get those strong winds rapid around the circulation. We'll go over to the reflectivity, and let's just watch this. And still, this is a suspicious storm. It's got that kind of hook feature back there. This would be your inflow notch. Your warm and unstable air blows into the updraft region of the storm. And again, if there's anything over the Jefferson-Shelby County line, it's going to be near Indian Springs Village and up Interstate 65 to Hoover. Back off towards the west, there's a strong storm back here, but this is not tornadic activity. Anything, if there's a tornado to be developing there, but again, it's traveling along 459, and that's going to be approaching the Lake Purdy area in North Shelby County on the Shelby and Jefferson County line. Go ahead, Brandon, you got those pictures?
I've got those pictures pulled up
that
you were wanting to show. This is from the Peterson area, and so this looks like some damage to a gate, if I'm looking at that correctly. So we had some damage to some communities here at Peterson. Here's another picture. It looks like maybe some siding of some sort on the along the gate there. So then we're going to look at this other one, and just again, so some minor damage. We're not talking about major damage from these pictures that we can tell, but we might have had something come to the Peterson area, and looks like that gate coming down. So that's some of that damage that we're talking about from the storm that's now in Jefferson County that came through Tuscaloosa County about an hour ago. So, the damage you're seeing here, that storm that's moving in through, Vestavia Hills, Hoover, and Mountain Brook, that storm can do the same amount of damage. In fact, like Jennifer was saying, we're getting some reports of some power lines down.
Yeah, I just checked with Alabama Power, and that count, what was like about 10,000 last time we talked, it's now up to almost 18,000 people without power right now.
Right, and that the storm is moving into a very populated area, and in the tornado warning alone, I think I saw something that said about over 500,000 people are in that. So when you involve more people, of course, you get that chance of the power outages coming out, but the winds out ahead of these thunderstorms are also creating those power outages. And so that tornado warning remains in effect until 6:30 for Jefferson County. But again, you see that damage in Peterson. That storm did that damage, and it can do it again.
Yeah, and look, this may be straight line wind damage, may not necessarily be tornado damage, but that can bring a tree down on your house. We saw that report over in Greene County of the damage down there of a tree that was uprooted and fell on the corner of a home. So far I've heard no injuries, which is fantastic. There haven't really been a whole lot of structures that were hit. Most of the damage has been in some forested area. Let's go back over to our radar and let's just look at this thing together of what we've got across central Alabama. And there we go. So again, here's your thunderstorm. They still got a tornado warning for northern portion of Shelby County, southern portion of Jefferson County. That's Lake Purdy there. Indian Springs Village is Highway 119. That was hard hit back in the March tornado last year. This is the potential tornado is going to be just north of there, so crossing Interstate 65. But again, we still got that hook echo feature. This is a thunderstorm that's clearly still rotating. There's not strong evidence of a tornado down right now, but it's a rotating thunderstorm, so the Weather Service is going to continue that tornado warning for now. Let's go over to our velocity product, and again, very strong winds into this storm. So again, there's no doubt this can bring down some trees now, especially near the Lake Purdy area along Highway 119. That's Highway 280 that runs down to Chelsea and Westover. If there's any chance of a tornado, it's going to be right there, the interchange of 280 and 459, not far from the summit. There's Lake Purdy there. Indian Springs Village there. And again, what's left of the rotations now clearly cross east of Interstate 65, so it's going to be coming up on the 280 and Interstate 459 corridor. Brandon, what you got?
Yeah, so I just want to kind of call the attention to our southwestern parts of our area. You haven't seen a lot in Demopolis or Marengo or Sumter and Perry counties, but I am watching a storm coming out of Choctaw County near, northwest of Butler that's going to be coming up toward Demopolis and Linden. I'm watching that storm very closely. That might be our next storm that we have to watch. And so just kind of giving everyone a heads up. If you're in Sumter and Marengo counties, we're still watching those storms down there before the main line gets to you. And
yeah, so we still got the tornado warning for Shelby and Jefferson County that continues for at least a little while. Let's see, and just a report from engineer, our low power transmitter on Jug Factory Road is off air. So if you can't watch us on there, you can watch us on Facebook Live right now. So, search for the WVUA 23 Facebook page, and you can watch us on there right now. So again, still maintaining the tornado warning for Jefferson, Shelby County. Hey, before we get to that, I know Ajane's over in Samantha at the damage in Northside High School. We're getting reports of power flashes on 459 and 280 from the Grandview area. So again, we're seeing reports of power flashes. This may be from strong straight line winds, maybe not necessarily a tornado, but it could be. So let's go over to our reflectivity. And Brandon, that would make sense in that little spot there. So let's watch it. There may be a tornado trying to spin up there near Lake Purdy.
And the National Weather Service is watching that very closely. They said that the rotation keeps, becoming strong and then broaden out and then strong again. And again, we'd rather be safe than sorry. It doesn't take very much for it to become a tornado.
Yeah, let me zoom out just a little bit. Let's do another path on this thing and show you who is going to deal with this potential tornado. Again, this is very close to the interchange of 459 and 280 at the 280 exit. So we're seeing some reports, some power flashes there. Again, it may not be necessarily a tornado. It could be strong straight line winds, but again, even if it's a strong straight line winds, they can bring trees down. They can cause problems where you are. And okay, and also while we look at this report, Ajane is over in Samantha. Ajane, what do you have up there?
Hey, Richard, we made it to Northside. This is a live look at the damage we mentioned earlier that occurred here at the football field. The scoreboard looks like it was pulled from the ground pretty good. It's currently fallen over the fence and out of the parking lot into the field area. Right now, I can tell you the rain definitely picked up as we were driving to Northside. It's still currently raining pretty hard. We met with one of the baseball directors who was checking the fields when the power actually went out. There's currently no power in this area. power in this area.
Yeah, I was just
As of
gonna
right
ask
now,
you.
this is the only knowledge we have of damage within this area at the high school, and of course we'll continue to keep you guys updated with more happening over at Northside High School. But back to you, Richard. That's all I've got for right now.
Hey, thank you, Audrey, for that report there. Again, so we're seeing no power up there in the Samantha area near Northside High School and middle school. And again, you saw the damage there where they are dealing with some issues clearly with power. So the Weather Service is going to continue the tornado warning for Jefferson and Shelby County. And, you know, we're really watching this storm carefully. It has the possibility or potential to try to drop a tornado. That the storm, there's no doubt it's trying to wrap back up, and it has almost made a due east turn. I don't know if you noticed that, Brandon and Jennifer. This thing's almost moving due east now.
In the, you know, the Storms Prediction Center is kind of just highlighting again this area from Tuscaloosa to Birmingham to Meridian, that's going to be our greatest threat for the next 2 or 3 hours for any kind of severe weather again. So, you know, the severe weather threat's not over until that main line passes through.
Yeah, once that happens, we are done. So again, let's go back over to our radar, and this is a potential tornado that could still be there, and maybe a new one trying to develop right over Lake Purdy. That's over the 280 corridor, is crossing Highway 280 to the northwest of Chelsea. And let's do a path on this thing. Now, I know technically the tornado warning stops right there. There may be an extension to the east there in St. Clair, but let me zoom out just a bit and let's look at this thing, a path of it, because I want to show who all is ahead of this potential tornado, because it could easily redevelop. It's crossed Highway 280 as we speak, or it is in the process of crossing Highway 280, moving northeast, or I'd say more east-northeast at about 60 miles per hour. So there we go. Here are the times of arrival. These are computer estimated times of arrival, what time the circulation will be generally in your area. So we're looking at Lake Purdy basically now. You got to be in shelter, lowest floor of your home. If you're a multi-level home, bottom floor or basement, often the best spot to get for this potential tornado. You got Pell City there. You got Riverside, that's at 640. Lincoln, that's at 644. And you continue to Chocolaco, that's at 708. Anderson, 701. And again, that's over in Calhoun County if this circulation does continue and moves into that part of Alabama. So let's go back and show a wide view across central Alabama. We'll clear this off. And let's show everybody out there, because there's other storms ongoing. We've got intense thunderstorms really from Northport stretching back into the Gina area and Snotty and northern Greene County and back in ML and Geiger and Sumter. Again, the only storm of concern now is this one on the Jefferson-Shelby County line that has the potential to produce a tornado. But you know what? Brandon mentioned this one down here in Choctaw County. See that little storm down there? That is in an environment that is still conducive for producing a tornado, certainly. So that storm may require a tornado warning down the road. So a heads up for portions of Sumter and Marengo County. In fact, let's go down into that storm. Let's look at the velocity, because I want to see if there's any strong evidence of rotation with that. Earlier we looked at it, wasn't. Go ahead.
While you're zooming into that, I just want to mention that the rotation has really kind of ramped up or gotten a little tighter near Lake Purdy on State Highway 119 in northern Shelby County. So if you're in northern Shelby County toward the Leeds area in eastern Jefferson County, you need to be in a safe place.
Yeah, that's now northeast of Indian Springs Village now. So a really similar path. It's about where the tornado was back in March. Last year we had that tornado pass through there. So that's where that is located now. Let's look at this storm down here in northern Choctaw County. And just look at the velocity signature. Now, Choctaw County is in the Meridian television market, but we cover Sumter and Marengo. And again, there's some evidence of rotation down there. Let's see if we can look at Mobile and just get a perspective from there, because I really want to see what's happening. In this part of the state, the radar coverage is terrible. We can't see anything really in the lowest 8,000 feet of the atmosphere. So it's hard to tell if there is a tornado there or not. I can still see some evidence of rotation in northern Choctaw. Let me go over to Mobile. And yeah, there's some broad rotation, several thousand feet up. Unfortunately, we can't see what's happening down at the ground level. So, you know, let's watch it. If you're in Sumter and Marengo counties, we may see issues in your local area. All right, so let's go over to the storm that is in Jefferson-Shelby County line. That's really now in northern Shelby County primarily. And look at the rotation with this.
I think I've got a small debris signature now with that.
That's right, on 119. Yeah, so we got a tight little couplet there. Let's look at the correlation coefficient. We may have a tornado down. I bet that's it there. I think we have a brief tornado touchdown, okay? So we got a tornado that may be down. That's on 119, northeast of Indian Springs Village, okay? That's a Legacy Drive right there. That was an area that was hit by the tornadoes back in March. All right. That's Grants Mill Road that comes down here. You got Lake Purdy right there. That's 119 that runs. This is Jefferson County here. This is Shelby County. 280. This already crossed 280 down here at the bottom of your screen. So again, this is certainly an indication that there may be a tornado down right now. I think we may have one.
It matches up.
Go ahead.
It matches up with the velocity very well. So that correlation coefficient drop, we might have a tornado on the ground right now on 119.
Yeah, I think so too, Brandon. So again, we got to let's assume this is a tornado down. I don't think it's a very strong tornado, but still, a tornado is a tornado. EF0 can be a threat to life and property. This is going to be running parallel to Jefferson, Shelby County, and in fact, let's look off towards. Okay, thank you. Our engineer mentioned our signal on Joke Factory Road is back on air, our transmitter there. So we are back on at Joke Factory. So again, if you lose power, there's a lot of people out of power right now. You can watch us on Facebook Live. You search for the WVUA 23 Facebook page. Here's a look at the storm, and this is the debris tracker. We're looking at what is likely a tornado.
Richard,
that's developed.
National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado over Van Diver near Leeds, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour.
Okay, so they're going to confirm this as a tornado down. We see the debris signature. This is, let me take this off. I want to put on the correlation coefficient, and there's no doubt we got a little debris signature that's popped up right there. Now this is going to be crossing, that's Sutherland Park place right there. This is a Legacy Drive in a little neighborhood here, or say a little neighborhood, this is a large neighborhood that's tracking off towards the northeast. There's our new signature, and our debris has moved northeast just a bit. This is going to continue. Now the Weather Service is going to continue the tornado warning until 6:30. That's 15 more minutes. They may extend this on towards the northeast, but there's a wind burn there. That's Highway 25, Oak Crossing. So this potential tornado is going to be moving along Mountain View Lane. That's Mountain View Lane there. This is continuing off towards the northeast just like that at about 60 miles per hour. So this is a dangerous storm that is producing a confirmed tornado. I don't think it's a very large tornado, but it doesn't matter. An EF0 is a big deal. EF1 is a big deal. So let's look at the velocity signature. Yeah, there's your couplet right there. Not very strong couplet, but again, there's enough rotation for something to come down to the surface, and I think we definitely have a tornado down. This is a confirmed tornado anyway, so we know there's one down. But this thing is tracking along Highway 119. It's moving northeast just like that. So if you're in Oak Crossing or wind burn, you need to be in shelter now. This is far northeast Shelby County. This is far eastern Jefferson County. Let me zoom out so you can get a better reference of other spots, locations that's dealing with this. And I tell you what, here in just a minute, Catherine, I'd love to take the Brian Denny camera in Tuscaloosa. We got that intense storm coming up. But again, there's your rotation. It's approaching Leeds. That's in far east Jefferson County. There's the Lawley area. This is going to be just north of there. Prescott, now this is over in St. Clair. So if this does continue, it's going to cross Interstate 20 over in western St. Clair County. So this is certainly a storm of concern. We'll see if the Weather Service issues the tornado warning to the northeast of there, but so far they have not done that.
You know, Richard, I've got a video of the Northport storm rolling in that was tweeted to us.
Oh wow, look at that!
And so that's the main
is that
line
Clear
coming
Creek?
in.
What is that? Or Grand Point, Clear Creek area? That's what it looks like. So again, that's the wind. That's with the main line now. So let's go to our Brian Denny camera briefly, and I want to show you that. Here's your shelf cloud. Off to the west, you see that kind of lowering cloud there. That is the shelf cloud. That's the leading edge of that next thunderstorm that's coming into the Tuscaloosa area right now. There is not a tornado warning with that. There's not even a severe thunderstorm warning, but still it's a dangerous thunderstorm that could produce strong winds that could bring down trees and power lines. let's go back over to our radar. And look, let me say this, Brandon and Jennifer, the rotation is not that impressive, but we know we've had a brief tornado touchdown. Let's look at the debris signature. And you see it right there. That's it. There's a tornado down, but from velocity, it looks very disorganized. It's quite interesting to see that, Brandon.
And it's coming through a very populated area, so it might be picking up a lot more debris than if you were over just wooded area. And so I mean that CC drop is very prominent, but the velocity might not be as good as the it's showing with the debris dropout. But again, we're in a very populated area, so it might be picking up more stuff.
Yeah, and the Weather Service are trying to figure out whether they want to issue a tornado warning for St. Clair. They're saying be on the ready, St. Clair County. So Moody, Prescott, Cooks area. There's not a tornado warning yet for you, but the Weather Service may issue a tornado warning downstream because clearly there's a tornado down right now. So the rotation is so weak and disorganized, I assume they don't think this is going to last very long. It may be just kind of brief tornado touchdown.
Hey, Richard.
Jennifer.
Pickens and Walker are now out of the tornado watch.
Okay, good. So they continue to drop counties in West Alabama from the tornado watch. Here is our tornado that's actually down. This is Mountain View Road here, or Mountain View Place. This is Mountain View Lane. All right, this is Rogers Road you see right there. This is Shelby. This is Jefferson, okay? Lake Providence down there. That's Highway 478 there. This tornado is going to be crossing, running parallel to Shelby, Jefferson County line. That's Highway 119. So this is running parallel to Highway 119.
They issued the tornado warning for St. Clair County until 7 p.m. tonight. This storm is over Leeds, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour.
Okay, so we got a tornado down right there. Is this a confirmed tornado, or they're saying radar indicated? The wind with this is so weak, but there's no doubt there's something down. We got most likely a weak tornado down right now. Let me zoom out just a bit so you can see a wider view. And here's the deal. It's a tornado. A tornado's a tornado. We've got to seek shelter. Go ahead.
Brett Adair, one of the storm chasers, he's saying that there's a major backup on from Leeds to the I-20/459 intersection due to accidents, and this tornado is headed straight towards that area, and there are a lot of people on the road.
Yeah, so if you can possibly get off the road ahead of this thing, I would recommend doing so. I know this is kind of worst case scenario. There's a tornado there. Whether it stays down or not, we hope it lifts, and that's a possibility, but there's a lot of people on the interstate right here, and they can't go anywhere. So if this tornado stays down, it's going to move right over all of those cars on the Interstate Corridor 20 that they just can't get off. Can't get off the highway. So that is, hopefully this thing will lift. Again, I believe Brett was mentioning there's a big accident here, and the traffic extends all the way down Interstate 20 into St. Clair County. Still got a debris signature that is literally on the Jefferson and Shelby County line. That's about to move into St. Clair. And that's a triple point of St. Clair, Jefferson, Shelby, right where that 78 marker is, the Highway 78 marker. It's over a wind burn now, and it's going to cross Highway 25 in just a matter of a few minutes. So our tornado that's still down is going to cross Highway 25 in just a few minutes. Go ahead, Brandon.
Getting a report, John Talbot sent me a report via Twitter. It's a late report, but Graysville Fire Department reports multiple trees down on the 5500 block of Lynn's Crossing in Jefferson County. And he says also in Lindale Road and Old Jasper Highway, there's a lot of trees down as well. So we know that the northwestern part of Jefferson County could have took maybe a minor hit from a tornado. We just don't know the scope of it just yet. We're only getting preliminary reports. And so again, just to repeat, Graysville Fire Department reports multiple trees down on the 5500 block of Lynn's Crossing in Jefferson County, along with Lindale Road and Old Jasper Highway. That was as of 6:02. So if we get any more information or any more reports, in fact, he just sent me another one. North Shelby Fire Department has reported a tree down on Brook Highlands Parkway and Stonebrook Drive. So we're starting to get a little bit of that damage in the Birmingham Metro now from this thunderstorm as it's come through.
Yeah, so I mean, we know it's in a populated area, so we're going to get damage reports pretty quick now versus if it's in a sparsely populated area. I see a pink polygon just pop up. Did they change that to confirmed?
I believe that's the old.
Okay,
the old
yeah,
one.
that's the old. Okay, yeah, that's the old when they observed the tornado. So yeah, this is the new tornado warning polygon, which is now red. So again, our possible tornado is now crossing Highway 25. It's in the northeast corner of Shelby County, about to move into St. Clair County. It's going to move into west of St. Clair County. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. I think this storm is just about done. If you look at the reflectivity, there's not much left. But again, if you are in Pell City to Moody, we still want you in shelter, as a possible tornado could still be there moving out of Shelby County. So again, this storm is much weaker compared to 30 minutes ago. This thing looked much more impressive. So we are hoping this trend will continue as it moves in St. Clair County, and this thing will finally fizzle out. Let's go back off towards the west, and I'll tell you what, as we do that, Catherine, if we can take a double box of the Tuscaloosa Bryant-Denny camera, and I would be interested to see what we've got, because it should be on top of us in terms of the heavy rainfall right now. So again, we've got this line of intense thunderstorms that's over Tuscaloosa. Yeah, there's a Bryant-Denny camera. You see right there, the right side of your screen. Very heavy rain falling in the Tuscaloosa area. The power's on, so that's good. I see we've got a flash flood warning going out for Jefferson County now. So flooding is becoming more of a concern, and this will be it. Once this line moves on through, there's going to be some moderate rain behind us for a little while, then that rain will come to an end pretty quickly. So this is your frontal boundary. This is your line of thunderstorms. Behind that, you're stable. Ahead of that, you're still unstable. So again, that's just from our Bryant-Denny camera, how things look outside right now. Let's go back over to radar full, and this is what we've got. This line of thunderstorm stretches into northern Greene County and northern Sumter County. This storm down here is still to the south. We're watching it carefully, but I don't see any strong evidence of a tornado down here near Pennington or Myrtlewood. This is a weak storm down here in northern Choctaw County, southern portions of Sumter County, and this is moving off towards the northeast, towards Demopolis. But again, so far there are no strong sign of rotation. All right, John DeBlock with Weather Service mentioned the rotation is falling apart in Shelby County, so we are not seeing anything strong anymore. But let's go into it, and let's go in tight, and let's look at this tornadic storm. And this thing is continuing to weaken. It just does not look that impressive anymore. There's still a tornado warning technically in effect.
You know, I was just going to echo that the lightning display with this has really decreased. And so, you know, if you look at the echo tops on the radar, which tells you how high the thunderstorm is, they've come down tremendously as well. And so maybe what's happening is it's getting into that weaker instability, and the shear is going to rip it apart.
Yes, I think that is happening. Brandon, there's a new radar update. They're going to cancel this tornado warning, I bet, pretty soon, unless something major changes rapidly. The tornado warning continues for St. Clair County, but I would imagine they're going to allow this tornado warning to expire here pretty soon as this rotation is falling apart, according to the National Weather Service in Birmingham. That's their words. And let's look at the velocity together. And there's nothing there. There's not a tornado there. Now, I will say this, and Brandon and Jennifer, you guys see this, there is likely some strong winds with that. So even though the rotation has died out, there's certainly some strong wind potential. This storm's nasty. It's going to be heavy rainfall, flooding potential out of that, and also the strong straight line wind risk as well. So just because the rotation's just not there anymore doesn't mean the weather's not going to be bad. But I don't think there's a tornado down anymore. Let's go to the debris signature and look at this and see what we've got. There's the old debris signature. Again, the rotation's over here now, so there's no longer a tornado down. So let's go back over to Birmingham radar, and let's go back towards the west. I want to look at West Alabama for everybody out there watching us in other parts of the state, trying to figure out what's happening in my area. And this is what we got. We got a line of thunderstorms that is stretching from about Aniana to northern Jefferson County to the Tuscaloosa area to northern Greene County, just about Utah. Really lined up and down Interstate 59 or approaching that corridor. And this is it. Once this moves on, your risk of severe weather will have ended. So again, still got some rain back behind this, but again, there's no problems after this passes on through. So this is our back edge of the severe weather risk. This will move on pretty quickly. Let's put on the watch and warning map and just look at this. And Again, we still got a tornado watch for areas near and south of Interstate 59, essentially ahead of that line. Once that line passes on through, okay, once this line passes on through, we're over with for the severe weather risk. So still got a tornado warning technically for St. Clair County. The rotation is in the process of decaying and fizzling out. So as long as that trend does continue, they'll allow this tornado warning probably to expire a little earlier. And I'm just checking reports. And yeah, you know, a lot of people that were in this storm that came through Tuscaloosa were just talking about how rough this storm was. A lot of hail. Large hail, strong winds. Some people reporting winds quite strong with this. We had the official storm report of over 70-mile-an-hour winds, which is incredible. And again, I'm just looking at information. I see Justin Hinman sent us a picture of the funnel cloud he saw at exit 73 on Highway 82 at McFarland. And again, other than that, it has been really quiet lately. I see they're continuing the tornado warning. They're saying a confirmed tornado over Bald Rock near Moody. Is that an old update? Because if not, they just upgraded this to confirmed tornado again.
That's new. Yeah, that's new. So they've upgraded it to an observed.
Let's look at this thing because the rotation's not there. I assume they're still looking at that debris ball or what's left of it. So let's go into the storm and look at the velocity signature. Again, this is for St. Clair County, southern St. Clair County. And in terms of rotation, I just don't see anything at all. There's no doubt there's some stronger winds there. But let's look at the correlation coefficient, the debris signature. And see, you still got that debris signature right there just on the south side of Moody. That's on the Interstate 20 corridor, and that's where Brett Adair was talking about. All those cars are on the interstate. So if there is a tornado here, you've got all these cars right there. You see the debris ball moving on a little bit. But Brandon, are you seeing anything on the velocity on your end?
No, I mean, the velocity couplet has really just disappeared, you know. And now this is a little bit of a mountainous area, more of a mountainous area when you come into Shelby and St. Clair County in that area. So the radar might be having some interference where we're not getting as clean of a sweep. And I mean, because this correlation, the dropout, you know, the debris dropout has been very consistent for the past 15 minutes.
It really has, which is surprisingly because the velocity is just not there. There's something here. It may be an EF0 tornado we just can't see from the radar velocity, but there's something there with debris being lofted, and it's crossing the Interstate 20 corridor, and that's where Brett Adair was saying all these cars are just stuck because of the traffic. So, you know, if this is a tornado, it has crossed Interstate 20 not far from the Moody area. So, you know, if there's a tornado down, there's a lot of vehicles that were right there on the interstate as this thing passed on by. So, you know, hopefully they're all okay. But this thing continues to move off towards the northeast very quickly. That's Kelly Creek Road there that runs northeast off the Interstate 2059 corridor in St. Clair County. You got a Rock Ridge Road there. That's Cooks Springs off towards the east. And again, if this continues, there's Bald Rock Mountain Road. This is Highway 174 to the northeast of this potential tornado signature. And the warning goes until, what is that, 7 o'clock, so we've got another 30 minutes on this tornado warning. Let me zoom out just a bit, and let's look at this. And I tell you what, Brandon, any more pictures coming from West Alabama that you've seen?
Not that I know of. I've been searching through social media, but I haven't found anything. Of course, if I do find something, I'll make sure to bring it up on the weather iPad.
Yeah, so here's our front right here. It's screaming obvious. There's our front. See how the winds change directions rapidly. So we got a cold front coming in, and we got this little area rotation that's still continuing over St. Clair County. That's west of Pell City. This is just to the east of Moody, approaching Odenville and Raglan. So the National Weather Service office continues this tornado warning in effect for St. Clair County.
You know, Richard, I want to pass this along. This is from Twitter. Someone sent this in via Twitter about 10 minutes ago saying there was a tree down on Highway 43 north around the restaurant Catfish Charlie's, blocking one lane. So that's probably more toward that north side area, if I do believe.
Yeah, that's just north of Winn-Dixie. That's a Mid-Larry road that crosses Highway 43. So, yeah Catfish Charlie's have been there many times. So they got some awesome food. But anyway, they are about oh gosh, mile north that interchange of Highway 43 and Mid-Larry Road. So there's a tree down there. There's a lot of large trees on the side of the highway in that part of 43. I do want to mention this. We got a big flash flood warning that's just been issued for a large area for Blount, Fayette, Tuscaloosa, and Walker. So again, that's a dangerous situation of flash flooding that is developing because of the fact that it's rained so much. Let's go into our watch warning map, and let's just show you who all's under that flash flood warning. Again, still got tornado warning in effect for St. Clair County, includes Pell City, areas south of Asheville, the Odenville area. Again, stay in shelter until this tornadic circulation passes on by. Again, there's not much left of it, but there's still enough for there may be a brief tornado down. Let me go back to a wide view, the home view.
Richard, they want to draw some attention because they still say it is a radar confirmed.
Okay.
But I've got on the weather iPad the traffic pulled up on Interstate 20, and it is all red. And so what they're concerned about is that this tornado might still be on the ground, and traffic is at a complete stop on Interstate 20. They believe it looks like it's on westbound lanes. And so they're worried that maybe, traffic being stopped, there might be something happening, and then that tornado crossing the interstate.
Yeah, Brett Adair mentioned there was a wreck at 459 to 2059, and again, this has got traffic backed up for miles and miles. And with that being the case, this tornado, it's already crossed the interstate. So it moved across those cars that were there, so that is certainly a threat. So hopefully everybody's okay. Haven't heard of anything out of that so far. Flash flood warning continues for Blount County, Jefferson, Walker, Fayette, and Tuscaloosa County. Let's go back to our Bryant-Denny camera if we can, Catherine. I do want to show you that. And this is from the stadium, where the rain rates have really come down just a bit. But again, still we're dealing with very heavy rainfall here in the Tuscaloosa area, and this stretches over towards Birmingham as well. I'm going to move this camera around just a bit. I want to show you what it looks like outside. And again, this is from Bryant-Denny Stadium. And let me zoom you into University Boulevard. Just want to see how things look. And you see a lot of water on the roadways there in front of Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's in front of our TV station. And see if we can focus this camera back in. And look at University Boulevard. Look at the water. It looks like a river on University Boulevard there in front of Bryant-Denny Stadium. So again, very heavy rainfall that has impacted the Tuscaloosa area. We've got a flash flood warning. So if you are in a typical flood spot, use extreme caution because this is certainly an issue. Very heavy rainfall in the Tuscaloosa area. And not only Tuscaloosa, but a lot of spots are dealing with flooding right now. So again, just amazing to see University Boulevard. Now it's not thick, very deep water. Look at the truck going through there. It's not very deep water, but it is enough to where there's quite a bit of ponding on the highway. So I would imagine there's some street flooding in the Tuscaloosa area that are dealing with this. So again, that's University Boulevard. That is a drain there on University Boulevard trying to take on all the water, but it's raining so heavy here that it just can't overtake it. The drainage systems are overtaken, and you have flash flooding issues. Let's go back to our graphics if we can and show you what we got. Again, we still got a tornado warning in effect for a very small sliver of St. Clair County. Everybody else is dealing with heavy rain and thunderstorms now that are moving generally off towards the northeast direction. The line itself is now sinking off towards the southeast. And again, within this line of thunderstorms, the rain rates are incredible. It is raining very heavily. Okay, getting reports. Jennifer, do you see that on the chat room?
It looks like Cedar Avenue in Leeds, there's a tree down on a mobile home and people are trapped inside the mobile home.
So yeah, we're getting reports of people trapped on a mobile home in Leeds, and hopefully they're all okay because there's no doubt that we had something happen there, whether that's a tornado or straight line wind damage. It is, we got entrapment in a mobile home, but again, no word of injury or how everybody's doing over there in Leeds. So again, that's the latest on that. Just to reiterate, the time is now 6:37. Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott here. We are following a severe weather event that is moving across central Alabama. We've had a number of tornado warnings over the past several hours. We've been on air for quite some time now, and we still got one storm That is producing some rotation in St. Clair County. For the western half of the state, all of this back here is very heavy rainfall with a flash flooding potential. There's flooding ongoing now in the Tuscaloosa area. In fact, some of the typical flood spots most likely are dealing with issues right now. So if you lose power because of the wind, we are also on Facebook Live. You search for the WVUA 23 Facebook page. We're on there now. So just a word of advice, if you lose power, you can join us on Facebook. So let's go into the storm in St. Clair County. A very small tornado warning polygon continues with a possibility there could be a tornado down. And again, this is cross Interstate 20 corridor. And let's look at the velocity signature with this and just see what we got. And again, there's just no evidence of rotation, Brandon, but you know, we keep seeing that little debris signature there.
Right.
Let's see if it's still there. And it's gone. The debris signature's gone.
Air.
Yeah, it's in stable air, so I'm almost certain now we're good on this storm.
I think that, yeah, you know, that looking at the tops of the thunderstorm on this one, there's no lightning. It's below 20,000 feet, you know, in the air, so it's really running to that stable air that's east of Birmingham. Actually, if we can take the weather iPad, I got a picture that I just got come in. This is from Angela Atchison. This is off Skyland Boulevard in East Tuscaloosa. She said that in the center of the picture, there used to be a trampoline there. There is no longer a trampoline there. So, you know, we've had those gradient winds today. You know, we've had the damaging winds with the storms that have come through, and then the line that's coming through now. And so, you know, these storms are still producing some very heavy, you know, winds, and they're causing, you know, trampolines to fly off.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, that's what you deal with these storms. And this may have been with that rotation that came through. We saw those really strong winds pass through earlier this afternoon. Weather Service mentioning they're not planning on extending the tornado warning downstream. They may cancel it early. There are, again, reports of entrapment in Leeds. That's in Jefferson County. Trees in a mobile home with people inside. So hopefully they're all okay, but that's the latest we got so far. Let's go back over to, this is our Algo camera. This is flooding on University Boulevard.
Richard, they did cancel the tornado warning for St. Clair County.
Okay, so yeah, they canceled the tornado warning. And where is this, Catherine? This is University Boulevard at Stadium Drive. Okay, so this is right in front of Reese Pfeiffer Hall. So we're kind of showing you a vantage point in front of the stadium, and you see the flooding on the highway there. This is University Boulevard, and you know they've done a lot with the drainage system there, and it is still having issues because of the fact that the rain was so heavy. Look at the cars traveling through that. That is just incredible. So there's going to be flooding. McFarland, usually by DCH, so that'll be a flood spot. 15th Street down there by Wendy's is typically a flood spot. So several locations that typically have flooding will have flooding with this event. Let's go back over to radar and show you what we've got. And let me take you out to wide view. And for the first time in a while, what time did y'all remember what time we went on for the first time?
About 2 or 3 o'clock.
About 2 or 3, somewhere around there, with that first tornado warning for Lamar and Marion and Fayette counties. And we've had nonstop tornado warnings since then. And so far, things are beginning to quieten down, which is a good trend. Now, I say quieten down, that's in terms of tornado development. We are looking at awfully rough storms passing across the area, very heavy rain, strong gusty wind potential, but there are no additional warnings in our entire coverage area for first time in a while. Let's look at the reports so far, because we're getting a number of reports in so far. And again, we got several tornado reports now. We had a tornado touchdown on the Tuscaloosa and Fayette County line near Boley Springs. That was north of Samantha. We had damage in Samantha at the high school there at North Side. We've also got damage in Leeds with entrapment in a mobile home there. A tree fell on a mobile home. Hopefully they're okay. They're trying to rescue personnel there now, trying to get them out of their mobile home. We got wind damage scattered about northern Coleman County. Got more wind damage that could have been a tornado in Lamar County, northeast of Sulligent, and then more down here just near Utah. Large hail issues in Tuscaloosa earlier as that storm produced quite a bit of large hail. That passed right through Tuscaloosa. but I have not heard of any tornado damage in the Tuscaloosa area. So again, this storm continues northeast. It has now run out of steam. It's over on the Calhoun-St. Clair County line. In terms of other reports across the area, the main issue is turning into flash flooding, and I think that's going to be a problem for a while.
You know, we got the line it's moving fast, but at the same time, it's also moving from, you know, the southwest to the northeast, so it's kind of training over themselves at the same time. And you have that moderate rain behind it, but, you know, again, once you have this main line move through, you know, that's it on your severe weather. And so we're going to get through this. You know, it's already to the I-20 corridor, so all we got to do is get it to the rest of the area. I've actually got the power outages up on the weather iPad if y'all want to take this. This is the latest from poweroutage.us. About 24,000 people as of 6:25 are without power. The highlighted areas are mainly west central Alabama. Fayette and Greene are a little bit more elevated again, but that's a little less population center, so more people without power. It'll highlight a little higher. But Walker, Jefferson, Shelby, and Bibb, you know, Tuscaloosa doesn't have as many power outages, but we know, you know, we had some very strong winds today, so we know a couple people probably don't have power. But again, this number will probably rise as the line continues to move through, but, you know, it'll start calming down as we get a little later on into this evening.
Yeah, so again, that's the latest situation on that. Flooding is a concern. We're having some problems out there now. So again, here's your radar, and I've got the storm report so far from today overlaid on top of that, so you can see where there has been some damage and where there have been some tornado touchdowns. So let's go back over to just our radar out of Birmingham, take the reports off, and again, you got a line of intense thunderstorms that continues to move off towards the southeast direction, and these are producing quite a bit of heavy rainfall. And again, the flooding issue will gradually end from northwest to southeast. These storms do move on out. And again, this is going to be pretty quick. Over the next few hours, we'll be out of this risk of anything heavy or severe. So let's take you into these storms, and I just want to take you along this line of thunderstorms. If we don't get a tornado warning, we're going to get back over the program here in just a moment because we are not currently dealing with active severe weather. So we've got very heavy rain moving through, again, South Tuscaloosa County, northern Greene County, Utah to Moundville to Duncanville. It is pouring rain now. There's no severe weather with that. In Jefferson County, very heavy rain stretched up and down just on the north side of Interstate 20. This is from Hueytown back towards Trussville. And again, that storm that was rotating is now moving into portions of Calhoun County to the west of Anniston now. That cell continues to weaken as it moves northeast, but still very heavy rainfall, stretching up and down the Interstate 59 corridor towards Gadsden and Steele, dealing with that right now as well. So again, from Bryant-Denny and Tuscaloosa, the temperature has cooled off to 61. So we're cool and stable here in the Tuscaloosa area. The severe weather risk is ended. Wind is out of the west at 10 miles per hour. So again, that's from our Bryant-Denny camera. Downtown Tuscaloosa, the Alabama Power camera. Again, the rain is gradually ending here in the Tuscaloosa area, the heavy stuff anyway. Dew points are dropping as the dry air begins to move on in. Still a lot of moisture out ahead of this, so these storms have a lot of moisture to feed off of. But look at the winds, still 37 in Birmingham, 28 in Sylacauga. And again, this will continue for the next few hours, and then winds gradually settle down just a bit overnight. Here's a look at the radar and satellite. You see this line of thunderstorms now quickly racing off towards the east. I think in about 6:46, 7, 8, 9. I'd say in 2 or 3 hours we should be totally out of the risk of severe weather. So yeah, 2 to 3 hours from now, our East Alabama counties, you're going to be in the all clear. So this is not going to last much longer at all. So again, I want to remind you, information online on Facebook and Twitter. We stream on our website, WVUA23.com. So if you want to watch us there, if you lose power, or on that Facebook Live, WVUA23. So what we'll do, let's take a break, and we will come back here for another cut in about 15 minutes at 7 o'clock. If we have a tornado warning before that, we'll be right here. So we will see you in about 15 minutes.